Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another Brap. This may be the last Brap on Hangouts, as Hangouts on Air is going away tomorrow, August 1st. Thanks for nothing, Google. I hope Stadia fails. No, I'm just kidding. I hope Stadia doesn't fail. But yeah, this is the last. This is the last Brap for and for many of us, the last Hangouts on Air as it's going away August 1st. We are currently looking at options, probably looking at trying OBS with Discord and then streaming OBS through YouTube, all that exciting stuff. You can tell I'm really excited about trying to figure out OBS and Discord and YouTube together. Yeah. Anyhow, we have a great show for you this evening. We have a special returning guest, a gentleman who has been a guest on Brap on many occasions. You may know him as Kratos, aka J Dub. Jay, what is going on? Welcome back to Brap, man.
What is going on? It feels good being back here, man. How's it going, everybody out there?
Hey, man, we are happy to have you back on, man. It's been a little while since you've been on the show, but hey, man, we got a lot to talk about. A lot of gaming related topics and news.
Definitely, man.
So
Let's get it.
yeah, man, definitely. So big shout out to everyone in the live chat, guys. Thank you again for hanging out with us this evening. Big shout out to Don't Call Me Danny, Average Giant, and D Truth, and the other folks as well. Yeah, man, it's been a very, very interesting, I think, week in terms of gaming news. I tell you what, we got to give props to Sony. I mean, 100 million,
Bravo, bravo,
100 million
bravo.
PlayStations sold. Uh, w-
Over 1 billion games sold.
yeah, 1 billion. I mean, that is. I mean, and they've done this faster than they did it with the PlayStation 2, which, if I'm not mistaken, I
Yeah,
believe the PlayStation 2 is the best-selling console of all time.
that's correct. And it took them 9 years to do that, and they still didn't hit a billion games. Sony's did it in 5.5 years.
Yeah, and I tell you what, man. Look, the proof is in the pudding. The numbers don't lie, and I mean, they've done you gotta, whether you're so ridiculous to even say this, if whether or not you're whether or not you like them or not, which there's no reason why you shouldn't like Sony. um you gotta tip off your hat to them. I mean, they did a great job this console generation. They rebounded from the PlayStation 3, and they we already got a dislike. That's hilarious. um that
Hey,
shit cracks me up, man.
you notice that only happened when you said that, right?
Yeah, exactly. As soon as they start praising Sony for their 100 million, which is, I mean, ridiculous. Look, here's the thing: don't get mad because Sony focused on what people want, what gamers want, and that's putting out competent hardware at a good price point and providing good games. I mean, that's what they did. They focused on games, and they focused on providing gamers a variety of types of games and gaming experiences through PlayStation VR. Which, hey, hats off to them for even still supporting that. I mean, I thought that they may give up on that. It hasn't really sold as well as I think they initially thought. But
Yeah,
I
but
think
but
that
but but you got to realize brand new tech. It's the leader in the class. Obviously you have more expensive units, higher fidelity units, and Sony's kicking their butts and banding together. And Sony has a ton of exclusive content um, for their VR platform. So I'm glad they're not treating it like a Vita as a secondhand citizen, and they're going to double down on it because I do believe it's the future. Once the price kind of came down from 399, and things started flying off the shelves. And Enrique, if you ask anybody, anyone who ever tried PSVR, they've become believers. So
That yeah,
VR is one of those things you can't really show on a screen. People have to try it, and once they try it, they become believers.
yeah. I've heard that from people that purchased PlayStation VR. They said they really enjoyed it. Matt Piscatella, who we had on from MPD, he was saying that one there was a I forget what PlayStation VR game, but he said it was like one of the games that's on that platform. He said that it was actually his one of his favorite games of the console gen.
Astrobot.
Astrobot, yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
So he said Astrobot's like one of the best games he's played this console generation.
Yep.
So that's awesome, man. It just it just goes to show that they get it, they understand what consumers want, and you could sit there and say, "Oh, Enrique, you're just being anti Xbox." Look, I own an Xbox. I have supported the Xbox platform for 18 years. I was an Xbox Live beta tester. Again, I'll reiterate this: if I'm critical of Microsoft, it's because I want them to do better. Because um, I've previous to this console generation, I've always had very good experiences. They've provided great software in the past. Um, and obviously, hey, what's up, irrelevant? Irrelevant. Obviously, competition is also good for the gaming industry. So a competitive Microsoft is good for everyone. Competitive Sony is good for everyone. A competitive Nintendo is good for everyone. It's good for the industry to have all those three competitors firing in all cylinders. Because it benefits us at the end of the day. So,
Exactly.
but yeah, man, that's a huge milestone, Jay. Man, I mean, 100 million is just. I mean, wow. I couldn't believe it, man. But I think that speaks to. I mean, the numbers don't lie, right? That speaks to the great job that they've done this console gen.
The numbers are undisputable. The PlayStation has averaged 20 million consoles per year, and you have to realize, um, even in the console industry, even in the gaming industry, as it's went down 2%, went down 3%. Uh, PlayStation has went up 3%, while the of course Xbox went down 48%. But that steady growth because of the software, the games sell the hardware, exclusives matter. You had two different opinions of where games should go and what game, and it seems like you know Sony bet on the right horse this particular generation. Like you
Yeah,
said, price will make your ears perk up, um, but the games will bring it on home.
yeah, and I'm telling you, I really believe this, Jay. I think that we think like why people say exclusives don't matter. I think that the numbers say otherwise, and that's also Nintendo, who's come out and said they're at 36.8 million.
37 million
Yeah,
in
but
2 years. In two
yeah,
years.
37 million, basically 37 million consoles sold in 2 years.
two
Um,
years.
they anticipate another 15 million sold by the end of their
Fiscal.
fiscal year, March 2020.
Yeah.
They are about to lap the Xbox. I mean,
They're
and
right there. They're knocking on the door. And not to cut you off, but at that same time frame, Sony are projected to have 111 million sold by March. So
jeez,
we're talking about 111 in what did you say, 40, almost 50 million switches being sold in
yeah, something like that.
such a short time. I mean, this is nuts. We've literally never seen stuff sell this fast, right? It's
And
not
look at
it's not the total amount, but it's this fast.
and look at the sales for their games. I mean, and they don't even provide numbers for digital sales on the
Yeah.
Switch. This is just physical. I think Mario sold Super Mario Odyssey sold about like 14 million.
Yep.
Zelda's
It's
at 10
20 million,
million.
10 million. Yeah.
Yeah, 10
It's
million.
they have one game that sold 18 million. I forgot which one it was. Probably Super Smash Brothers or something like that. But man, they are hammering
Mario
home.
Kart 8,
Mario Kart
Mario
8,
Kart 8. Yeah. I mean, jeez. Those,
18
those
million.
a remake of a
Um,
remake.
yeah,
yeah.
Mario Maker 2 just sold I think like 2.5 million in 3 days.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And don't forget. they sold more copies of Zelda than they had consoles at that time.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
attach rate was like 2 to 1
Yeah,
when it launched.
yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, and look, I mean, I drive this point home. You know, obviously, Crumb Size just smashes at 15 million sold.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, Forte, you have a better. What's up, Forte? By the way, man.
None,
What's
man.
up,
Sorry,
man?
I'm late. My kid literally tried to decapitate herself and ran
Oh,
into
she
a
okay?
dresser and split her freaking head open.
She okay?
She good. My wife took her to get it stitched, but she didn't
Wow.
want. She didn't want to take both.
Ooh.
She didn't want my oldest daughter to go because she was freaking out. She said, "Just stay home with the little one." And I was like, "Okay." I feel like a useless father right now because my youngest daughter is bleeding all over the carpet. But
Man, I'm
she's
sorry
Oh
to
my
hear
god.
that. I'm sorry to hear that.
they just FaceTime me. She's fine. She's a trooper. She's a Tom girl or a tomboy, I should say. So she,
Yeah.
you know, she used to stuff like this. It's the second time. It's the same eye too. So go figure.
Wow.
But she's
Jeez,
good
man.
though. She's already laughing and stuff. So
All right, so she's kind of calmed down. The shocks kind of wore off then.
yeah, the adrenaline finally, kicked in and she's good now.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear she's glad to hear it wasn't anything too serious, man.
Oh no, because I was on my way to the hospital and my wife literally said, "No, just go home with your oldest daughter. She's there by herself, and this one's good." So I'm like, "All right, cool." Because I was about to literally text and say, "Missing this show."
Yeah,
But
no.
then,
Well,
I'm here.
yeah, I'm glad to hear that she's okay, man.
Yeah, but what were you about to ask?
Well, I mean, you know, you're kind of on the front lines of retail, Forte. So, I mean, you could testify to the success of
Yes.
the Switch and the PlayStation 4, and you know, people buying games for those consoles. You know, you're there every day, man. You see it. I mean,
Yeah,
um,
you see the trade-ins, you see
I see him.
what the purchases are. So let's hear your point of view.
So are we just basically talking about just how successful the console launches have been for PlayStation and Nintendo overall?
yeah, it's like, you know, PS4 just, you know, hit 100 million.
Yeah, they just hit 100 million. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised they hit 100 million. I am surprised that they are still projecting 111 because console PS4 sales have dropped drastically ever since all the rumors, ever since they really came out and started talking about PS5 and not really putting a name to it, but console sales in general have literally nosedived. So them hitting 111, I mean, across the whole globe, I mean, I can still see it happening, especially over the next physical quarter by the time that their year is up. Switch, on the other hand, man, that thing is a monster. The fact that I didn't have Switches, like when they first launched, I didn't have a physical Switch to sell anybody for probably 6 months.
What?
Like 6 months. I had to order them on our web and store to have those shipped to people. I sold more Switches through our website than I did systems in my store for the first 6 months because they were just that depleted across the. I mean, you know, it was just not easy to find them for a while, and
I mean, I did I actually reserved a launch day Switch, but even for the reservation, I had to go there early because there were so many people in line and they had limited reservations.
Yeah, my store had 216 Switches reserved, and they all, I think I sold, if I remember correctly, I sold 180, like 183 at my midnight launch for it, which is unprecedented for a launch because normally when you do midnights, you only expect anywhere from 30 to 50% of your reserve base to pick up the game at midnight. We down there had a 70% pickup rate before at midnight for just that system alone. And then the next day, we pretty much sold all. I think we only had like 1 or 2 stragglers that went into the weekend. And that was just because some people were out of town and we just, told them we will hold it for them. But outside of that, dude, once those Switches were gone, I think we were only getting shipments of 6 or 12 at a time. And as soon as we got them, they were gone.
Wow.
That was the biggest thing that I saw with that system. The games were just flying off the shelf every time you got a chance. Zelda was literally outselling, like Kratos said, it was literally outselling consoles because people were buying it on multiple platforms when it came to it was still selling on the Wii U too. So up until I think the Switch hit 8 million, Zelda was already at like 9 million at that point, just because it had 2 SKUs on 2 different systems. I told everybody this, and I still tell everybody to this day, when people come into the store and they ask, what should I buy with my Switch? I say Mario Kart is the number one thing you should buy your Switch, because that's the reason I bought my Switch, and everything else is just icing on the cake. There's a game for everybody on that system. And the fact that now GameStop just started taking pre-orders. We just started taking pre-orders yesterday on the Switch Mini and on the Pokemon Switch system. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you right now, just in 2 days, I already have 73 pre-orders on that Switch. Jeez. And some of these people I already know own Switches. Most of these people, matter of fact, already own Switches. They're literally keeping they're keeping the main Switch, what they call the main Switch now, because that's the Switch that's going to dock to their TV, and then they're getting extra Switches to take on the road with them. The fact that nobody's even really thinking about the fact that Nintendo has the worst quality control when it comes to these freaking Joy-Cons. Don't even think about it anymore, because now it's a new piece of hardware coming out, and all of the Nintendo people come out and they support it. And that's the one thing I will say about Nintendo. They know how to talk to their base. They know how to rally the troops. And if they put out a good product, the base will sell that product to the casual market. And that is what you're seeing with the Switch. And you're going to see, I think, Kratos, what did you say they're estimating for the Switch for this year?
Close to 50 million.
And what are they at now?
37.
They're going to destroy that number, dude. That number is going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if the Switch is sitting at 60 million by March of next year. By after holiday, I would not be surprised, because I think a lot of people are going to be trading up their old Switches to get the slim version. I think for $199, you're going to see people double dipping even more than they did with the one for $299. I already know I'm in the market to get an extra one, and I already have 2 in my house. So
yeah, I agree with you. $199 is that perfect price for any console. Even back in the PS2 era, once that price dropped down to $199, they flew off the shelves and it was over.
Well, think about even the DS. When handhelds were at its apex, the DS was selling for $199, and that thing sold 130 million units. And the 3DS, people don't realize this, but the 3DS was literally $50 less than a Nintendo Switch at launch. And then they lowered the price. That's the only time I've ever seen Nintendo lower a price of a system right after release, because it went from $250 to $200, and they gave all the people that had 3DSs, they gave them that ambassador coupon to give you all those free games if you had your Switch since day one. But outside of that,
think about this, right? You have a new Switch coming out, Switch Lite, for $199. That's $100 cheaper. And then you're dropping Luigi's Mansion, right?
Yep.
Luigi's Mansion 3. And then you're dropping maybe another game or two that I can't think. That's
Pokemon is the big one.
Yeah, the Pokemon. The selling factor of that Switch will be limited and isolated to the production that they have. If they can't produce enough, then they're going to fail, because and maybe they don't care, because they're eventually going to sell them. But man, they have to be pumping these things out now, cranking, sitting on the shelves in the warehouse in order to, because this thing is going to sell like gangbusters. Well, now, keep in mind, PlayStation is going to obviously, like they normally do, drop their price. They got one of the biggest games of the year coming out with Death Stranding. They got Medieval. They got Concrete Genie. They got a bunch of other stuff. VR price is going to drop. So they're going to do pretty well as well. And then, next year that's going to roll into the Last of Us and the other big games that they have coming. So both of these companies are killing it. And I don't see why they can't beat their projections.
No, and that doesn't discount, because I agree with you. I mean, if they're already at 100 million, then another 11 million over the course of the next year, or just under a year, is not gonna especially with holiday, because they're going to do some aggressive price deals. I wouldn't be surprised to see a PS4 for $150 during the holidays. I would not be surprised.
Check this out. Last holiday, they ended up selling 5 million consoles that holiday, and which holiday is anywhere between I believe it was counted from
it's like October
through January, through the end of January. And they sold 5 million units just in those handful of months. So that's like 1.2 million a month, which is extremely good for a console that's been on the market for freaking 6 years, going on 7 years.
Yeah, it's gonna blow up, man.
So I guess the whole rumored by saying that people are console fatigued, that's been a false statement at face value when it comes to Nintendo and PlayStation.
Well, and this is the thing I always tell people. People always, when they say console fatigue, are you talking about hardcore gamers when it comes to the systems they have? Because I can see we're already excited as hardcore players and hardcore gamers to get into the next system. So we're already looking past Xbox One, PS4. We're looking towards what's next from these customers. But the casual base, there is still a lot of people out there that haven't upgraded systems. Just think about it like this: 360 and PS3, so 180, well, almost 190 million systems together. If you take those two systems together now, even if you give the rough estimate that Xbox is at 40, that's still 50 million short of what they were last generation. So there's
50 million more people that are going to be buying a console within the next couple of years. Like I told you, 199 and 149, those are the price ranges where things fly off the shelf.
Well, yeah, you got a lot of people, and you got to think what systems always fly off the shelf for PlayStation. That Spider-Man system they did during Black Friday for $199, the Days of Play system that they always release right around E3 that they always do for $199. They always sell out, and people are always looking for those deals later on.
So I'm glad you stressed that, right? The theme consoles, they work. People go out in droves to grab one. The God of Wars, the Spider-Mans, the Days of Play, and all of the other theme consoles, the Call of Duties, I even got the Final Fantasy VII system that's coming, the Kingdom Hearts system that was there. These things all rally your base. They rally people out to buy your console for their favorite games. It's so, I mean, even the Pokemon, right? The Pokemon Switch. I mean, not the Pokemon, the Super Smash Brothers Switch I got my hand on it. Yes, I paid $3.99 for it, but guess what? It's a collector's item. It was something that I had to get my hands on, and people love getting their hands on limited edition things.
Yeah, and that was something that Microsoft was so good at in the 360 era, and outside of the Titanfall system and the Halo system, and those were real early in the generation, they haven't done anything in that front.
No,
nothing at all. And Switch. No. And as much as people talk about how the Switch is doing, I'm like, man, the Switch has customization to it, because if you want to go out and buy different colored Joy-Cons, you can make your Switch look completely different anytime you want to. And there's a huge market for people to go out and get third-party accessories to make their Switch look better than it actually is. And I just believe that Nintendo, when it comes to they're the one company that exclusives truly matter to. Like, they don't no one else buys a Switch for third party. They don't go out and buy it for that. PlayStation and Xbox, as much as PlayStation is known for their first party, and their first party is amazing and it's one of the best first parties out there, when it comes to the sales of those systems mostly thrive on third party. The first party just buffers and makes those systems more appealing to people. Nintendo, on the other hand, is all about first. It's all about first party.
Yeah, if Nintendo only survives off of its first party, think about that.
Yeah, that's it.
If you took away those first party games, that company would go under the next day. People buy Nintendo products for Mario, for Zelda, for the Smash Brothers, the Pokemons, and all of that stuff. Those are legendary IPs that people grew up with and people know and kids like, and it's friendly and you're right. It's something that is not everywhere. It's
Well,
something
no other
that's
company.
exclusive.
Well, no
Yes.
other company can reproduce that, because the biggest thing is we all grew up with it, and we when it came to buying our first console for our younger kids, that was the one we first gravitated to, and then as they got older, we put them in Xboxes and PlayStations and stuff like that, and that cycle continues because there is no replacement for the younger market like a Mario game. There's no system will make a replacement for that. Nintendo is just, I always look at it like you always need doctors, you always need engineers, you always need IT, you always need something for your younger audience to do. And Nintendo cornered that market decades ago, and they'll never give it up.
I agree.
Yeah, but that's why the system's doing so good, Enrique. It's just that
I mean, it's it's interesting. We talked about console fatigue. I think in part, with regard to Microsoft, at least, I think there's part of that is console fatigue, but I think the other part is that no one wants that console. Really, I mean, that's just
I think
there is no. Remember, Enrique, there is no console anymore. Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, but I think this goes back to what I've kind of been saying more recently, is that look, these exclusives do matter, and they do help drive sales, help drive engagement. They are the things that separate and distinguish, help distinguish a certain brand over another. So, I mean, these are things that are very important. I mean, you look at Nintendo, because of how well, its franchises have been received, and how well they've been selling, and the smart design choice of Nintendo with the Nintendo Switch, and how well that console's been doing. You're seeing a complete 180 with regards to developer support of this new Nintendo platform, where a lot of third parties are bringing a lot of content now to the Nintendo Switch, and they didn't have that last console generation. If you guys remember, there wasn't a lot of third party support. So, they to me are the really. I mean, yeah, I think PlayStation's a huge success story, getting to 100 million. But I think Nintendo is really the true success story because of the comeback.
Their comeback was
they did not give up, and that's I can't stress that enough, man. Listen, all of these companies have had failures at some point in time, but it's how you get back up. Look, last generation when the PS3 launched, a year later, it didn't have Rumble in the controller. It barely had any content. It was just a mess. It was $200 more than the nearest competitor.
Yeah.
And they were able to come back from all of that and rally with great games, and they stuck with it, and they came out, they came back, they came out victorious in the end, if that's what you want to call it, in overall sales. But this generation, they were determined to not make that same mistake, and it worked out for them.
Yeah,
it worked out for them.
It's a great point, man. I mean, this has been a great. I mean, outside of some of the challenges that Microsoft has had this console generation, I will say this, and JW and I were talking about this before we went live. This has been a tremendous console generation in terms of content. I mean,
the best in my days. I mean, the best. I'll say this generation is the best generation of all my gaming, of all my life. If you take away the nostalgia factor, right, of the PS2 and the Nintendo 64 and all of that stuff, yes, nostalgia is very strong with people, so they may have different opinions. But the amount of quality software that we've gotten this generation is amazing. I think Sony has like 6 or 7 exclusives that have sold over 10 million copies this generation alone, and all the new exclusives. Nintendo with all their new exclusives and all of their new content selling, close to 20 million. That's just bananas. I've never seen companies come back and slug it out and just give you all of these different options and show you why you should buy their product. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I'll say this too. I think this generation, one thing I think this generation has shown is that, especially I think from not just third party or second party, whatever the case is in terms of quality. I think from a first party perspective, when you look at quality, I think that and actually, this thought popped into my head. I was listening to David Jaffe, and he was talking about the new Wolfenstein um, game that just came out, and he brought up a point. He's like, um, this game lost me at this point when I was playing, and I'd said, you know what, I'm putting it back in the box. It's not worth my time. There's so much other content out there, whether it's a game or TV or streaming services, so much other forms of entertainment that are really good that I don't want to spend time playing a game that's not entertaining. And I think that I think that was a great point by David. I think that you know eh, quality exclusives are really important because you want to hold that. We talk about player engagement. You want to hold that player engaged in your game. You don't want them leaving. There's so much quality out there. I mean, we talk about the Nintendo Switch and all the great games are on that platform. You talk about the PlayStation 4, but especially if you're a multi-console owner like ourselves, Fire Emblem Three Houses just came out, right?
Yep.
And I'm enjoying it. But then Judgment was there, and Judgment's not a bad game. But that's what I'm saying. Like there's so much entertainment
variety.
Value.
It's about variety. Is
yeah.
what it is, right? And I think one thing I can say about that, right, when you brought up Wolfenstein is shooters. I mean, there's a shooter born every minute, and I think people are fatigued when it comes to guns on the screen, and people will be like, not another shooter. I mean, we spend half of our time shooting something, but having an RPG or a single player story driven game that gives you something to keep coming back for and something that will enthrall you into it and grab you into the story. I'll bring up a game like Days Gone. That's something that just pulls you into that story and it keeps you playing, and it's entertaining. Um, like you said, people have such limited amount of time to spend on gaming, and so you have to thoroughly grab their attention. And just throwing another mediocre shooter out there is not the way to keep them busy.
No, absolutely, I agree. Like I said, there's just too much other stuff out there. What's up, Slow Mo?
What is up, gentlemen? J-Dubs, what's going on, man?
What is on, my brother? Long time no see.
I know, right? It's been a minute. It has been a minute. How you been, bro?
Been good, man. Can't complain. I just came back from celebrating yesterday. We had the Soul Train line, the celebration to 100 million consoles sold.
Oh my goodness.
PlayStation Nation.
The Soul Train line. That's it. If everyone who has a PlayStation 4 is in the line, I will fall asleep before it's my turn.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. You might not even get a turn.
Exactly, man. My leg might give out. I might have to just go sit down in the corner somewhere and just clap.
Oh my goodness. That's too funny, man. Yeah, but yeah, I think I think now more than ever, there's definitely a pressure, I think, for game developers to really put out quality content because there's so much variety out there in terms of entertainment options in games. Like Crackdown 3. People are like, oh, I had fun. I'm like, no, I didn't have fun. I couldn't stand the game. I mean, it was okay, but there were so many other games that I would have enjoyed playing that I just said, you know what, I'm done.
I'll be honest about Crackdown 3. I struggled through that just so that I could be able to give my opinion on the game without people going, "Oh, but you didn't even finish the game."
You didn't even, yeah.
So I was just like, "All right, let me go ahead and finish it." Now, like the first 5 hours, it was fun because it's fun just blowing stuff up.
Yeah, that stuff is fun, but then it gets
but then it's just like. There was no real growth to it. Like, yeah, you get stronger, you get faster, you can jump higher, but there is no next level to the play mechanics. Yeah. It's just Crackdown.
Let me ask you
that formula worked last generation, right?
Yeah.
What's happened is as technology has gotten better with these hardware platforms, I think people miss this notion that that it's if that formula worked like great, right? Last console generation.
Mhm.
This console generation, with the improved hardware and everything, maybe if they'd implemented cloud, that would have worked. Maybe that would have changed things for people's perspective. But had they fleshed out that game a little bit more, maybe add a deeper narrative to it, maybe use Terry Crews better, because I thought he was very entertaining in that game. But
Yeah,
I
he
also thought
was.
I thought his talents were wasted in that game.
Do,
Uh,
do you guys think, right, with this particular game, do you think that because they drug it out so long? Remember, this game was announced way back when, um, and it was touted with the cloud power and all that stuff, and all. So a lot of these guys have had that cloud power stuff. This whole tech side of this game, destroy any and everything, big world. Do you think that kind of killed the hype for the game as well as the longevity? And when people found out that it wasn't really the cloud power that they were expecting, and it was scaled back.
I think it was a classic case of what we have, the term that we now call development hell. I mean, you got multiple developers working on this game, and at the end of it, only one was left. That's
they
not
need
good luck.
crunch. They need a crunch, Slow-mo.
No, they ain't need no crunch. They needed a budget, and they needed a big direction.
They needed water puddles. That's what they needed.
Oh my
They needed a jump button.
You know what's wild about that game is that the campaign that they threw in at the last minute, not really the last minute, Sumo Digital came in and did that campaign in 2 years. That campaign was better than the multiplayer that was worked on and abandoned by one group who, I mean, it's not Microsoft's fault that Epic swooped in and bought them, but something, I think, it's not the fault that they got purchased. It's what their reaction to them getting purchased did. They should have came out and should have told gamers, hey, look, this is what happened. So we don't have this developer anymore. So what we showed you is no longer in play. Because clearly when you get the final product, it's nothing like what we were told it was going to be. So be honest. Just be honest about what happened. And look, we're still going to make you a Crackdown game. It's just not going to be what it was. Don't hide it. Don't not talk about it. Don't show up to E3 and don't say a word about it. That's just not like, it's just making the frustration from your community just get worse and worse. Just be honest with it. Look, this is what it is. Do what Nintendo did with Metro Prime. I mean, I'm sorry, I said Metro Prime. Metroid Prime. Yeah. They said the game is not up to our standard of quality. So it's canceled.
Some more time. Yeah. Yep.
And we're going to give it to Retro Studios, who does this, who made the games that you like, and then we're going to go for it.
It was the dilemma that Phil Spencer was in, though, that the guys at Microsoft was in. If we cancel this game, we've spent the last 3 years not making anything. We didn't invest in anything. So where does that leave us? We've already canceled a handful of studios, a handful of games. This would just be another failure out there. So we'll stick with it and eventually get to the point where we have to release it and just release it and hope it does what it does. Do you think that they just kind of try to prolong the inevitable?
Yeah. I don't know.
Sometimes people, they'll hold on to something and hoping that it dies down and they can kind of stealth launch it. And then sometimes it's like, look, we just got to get this thing out the door. We don't care what it's going to do. And just because that game got a 58, 59 Metacritic.
Yeah.
I don't think Microsoft's in it for like I think they're wholeheartedly invested in a future where everything is a service now, so doesn't really matter. I was looking at some because our conference for Gamestop is coming up next month, and
oh nice,
yeah, it's coming up next month, and I'm looking at the floor plan for the Expo, and I'm looking at our presentations for all of our events, and guess who is not on this list?
Wow, Microsoft.
They're not on as of right now, they are not on the floor at Expo, and they are not doing a presentation like they do every year.
Really?
Wow. Wow.
Sony has the same size booth they always had. They have a presentation. Square Enix has a presentation. The only one missing from this list is Microsoft, it looks like. I heard this from somebody else, and they just said, go look at it. And I'm looking at it now, and oh boy, yeah, it's no Xbox nowhere at this presentation.
So this is the annual. If you want to explain this, Forte, for the people who don't know that what this is as relates to games.
All right, so every year, last week of August, GameStop does it's basically like a mini E3 for all their associates. They send them to different states. This year it's in Nashville, Tennessee. And we get a chance to be one-on-one with the developers and with the devs and publishers of the games that we sell. So basically, it's like a big question and answer session with all the developers. They also go through the newest and hottest games they got releasing. Most of the times, we get to see footage of stuff that's coming out before anybody else does. Like for Xbox, when they put out the adaptive controller, we actually saw the trailer 2 weeks before they actually released it to anybody else. We saw the Last of Us trailer before it got shown to anybody else before. And we saw a couple other things that was like Spider-Man. We saw the extended video gameplay of it like weeks before anybody else seen it. So it's like that. But then they also have like this Expo, which is basically a mini E3 where you walk around and you can play all the newest games coming out for the holiday. You can talk to the developers on the floor about their games and stuff, and try out all new things like that. And normally every developer is present there.
Now, when is this taking place again? Because somebody in the live chat said, Indie Gamer says, are they at Gamescom instead? Meaning Microsoft.
No, because Gamescom this press is Gamescom different this year?
Yeah, listen, Gamescom has nothing to do with this particular event.
Nothing.
This is a GameStop. This is a retailer's event for retailers.
Yeah,
Gamescom is totally different. That's the European version of E3. That's the Germany version of E3.
Yeah. The reason this event is so important and why I'm thinking that
Gamescom is August 20th through August 24th.
Yeah, and our conference is from 25th through the 29th.
Yeah.
So your conference starts the day after Gamescom ends.
Right.
Yeah. So in this conference, this GameStop conference or retailers conference is because these guys have to get ready and prepare their stores and their shelves for all of these games and all of this stuff.
Hold on, J-Dub. Yo, Shirzad is savage. He said, why would a losing company do an event of another losing company?
No, well,
that is savage. Come on, man.
Let's be okay. Well, let's be for real.
He brought it up. The elephants in the room.
Okay.
Let's talk about this. The report that GameStop is laying off a ton of store managers and stuff like that. That's going on right now in the media.
Well, Forte actually informed us this yesterday while we were playing Destiny. So, Forte, you have the floor again, sir.
Okay, so I'm not gonna get into huge detail because they're gonna put out their own press release, but that stuff is true. There was a major shuffling of the whole company. So it's something that probably should have happened a long time ago because they were closing stores, but they were basically keeping the same size districts and stuff. And people so you got more people running districts with less stores in it. So all they did was basically
right sized.
Yeah. They just literally cut fat where they needed to cut fat, but I also think this has a lot to do with the compensation change that they did for a lot of the associates. We all know a $1 billion company isn't going to just eat profit like that. They're going to find a way to, get back as much as possible. But yeah, there has been a major reshuffling in the company. It was mostly at the higher end. It wasn't the store level when it came to this, but unfortunately, some people very dear did leave the company over the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. I've always asked myself, close by me, the GameStops that I go to, I have one literally across the street from each other. There's two of them, one on the right side of the road and one on the left side of the road, and I just never understood that.
Yeah, why is that? I never understood that either.
Well, because
I've
when
seen
they
things like that too.
like perfect example for my area, there's two across the street, and I'm literally a mile and a half up the street from them, and it's mostly because when GameStop bought all the companies, one store was a EB game, another one was a
Funko
GameStop.
Land,
The other ones, like perfect example, one's down the street from me were EB. The one across from them was a GameStop, and my store used to be a Funko Land.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, all the stores are super profitable because as much as they're right next to each other, they kind of have their own customer base, and the only reason people go to other ones is if other stores, like their store, doesn't have what they want, so then they'll send them to the store that's closest to them to get it.
Exactly.
So it kind of works its way out, but I see that being something that's going to get kind of clipped over the course of however long GameStop wants to play this song and dance that they're playing right now. I mean, I think this is the thing. I think GameStop's going to be fine. I just don't think it's going to be what people think it is now. It's going to be. I think they'll still have a specialty when it comes to games. I just think the look that you're going to see from GameStop is going to be totally different going into the next generation, and they're just basically trying to survive until next generation, because if they can make it to next generation, we already know that physical media is going to be a part of that. Gives them at least one more generation of being able to be relevant.
That's correct.
And as much as people want to say, like, why does one dying company want to help another dying company? Well, that dying company still has the majority market share of all games sold in the country. Unfortunately, as much as digital still reigns supreme, it still doesn't outsell physical media. And physical media is still sold more at that one retailer than any other retailer.
I think digital is at like 50-something% now.
Yeah, it's like straddling that 50% line now. Yeah. But of the physical market, GameStop still controls the majority of that.
Plus, there's other stuff that people go to GameStop for. Besides the games, you have the accessories, you have the limited edition bundles that you can't get at other places. You have the store, the GameStop only. Different collectors items and stuff like that. So that's another reason GameStop will be okay. Now, here's the thing, right? If Sony decided to go all digital or Game Pass route or something like that, that may have struck a huge blow to GameStop. But because it's Microsoft, their install base is already kind of small on the whole grand scheme of things.
Right.
I don't think it made that big of a dent in having them to focus on, hey, buy our stuff, with Game Pass $1 and stuff like that.
Exactly, and that's
because PlayStation is Nintendo. I still go to GameStop to get my stuff at for PlayStation and Nintendo, because you you have no choice. You want the special edition, you wanted to get it that day or at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something like that. That's the place you have to go. So I think
let's be for real. Part of this could also have something to do. Like, I don't know, this is no inside knowledge on it, but I always wonder what was going to be the other side of the coin when GameStop didn't want to carry the digital edition of the Xbox, because it wasn't that Microsoft didn't give it to them. GameStop just didn't carry it. So I guarantee that was probably part of the beginning. Part of the beginning of the end. And but like you said, Microsoft has been going down this route with Game Pass and all. I mean, at this point, they're pretty much giving their games away for $1 to everybody. So
$1.
I mean, but like GameStop has no reason to carry the SAD edition with that particular customer. You sell them that, and then that's it. You can't get any games off of them.
There's no attachments or any.
It's just no purpose.
Plus, you got to think of it like this, guys. Let's face it. Let's call it is what it is. Nobody really bought the Xbox One SAD edition. It was a bad deal. It was overpriced. It really had no particular value.
Right.
So that's another thing. So GameStop didn't miss out on anything. Nobody even cared. But it's going to be interesting next generation when the Scarlet drops and PlayStation 5 drop. But I'm going to go out on the limb here. And Forte, you can tell me your opinion, right? Not any insider knowledge, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I believe this next generation is going to be a bloodbath. I think the PlayStation 5 is going to slaughter Scarlet from day one and never look back. I really think so because the mind share isn't there. The games aren't there. I know Halo is big, right? But even that franchise has been on the waning side. Hopefully it can breathe new life, but you're going to need more than Halo at this particular point in this whole gaming arena. You're going to need more than that to force people to forego getting a Spider-Man 2 or God of War 2 or Horizon Zero Dawn or Gran Turismo 7 and on and on and on and on and on. It's the mind share is just with Sony, and you have the most die-hard Xbox guys who ride or die, who bleed green, are playing PlayStation right now. They are ponies, full-fledged ponies. And if you can do something like that at the end of a generation,
man, those people are just capitalists. That's all they are, man. Don't try to get those guys out. They capitalists right now. That's what they are.
Listen, I agree with you, but you also have to agree that some of it is true and some of them are not just.
Oh, it's all very true.
I mean, we've seen a mass exodus for this last 6 months. We have seen that. Now, whether a guy have a podcast or not,
what's up, B-Money?
This trend.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't want you to say anything about GameStop, but let's face it, you see the sales. You see what's selling and what's trading in and what's not. I mean, come on, it is what it is.
Well, I'll tell you, I can't disagree with you because I believe the same thing. I think the moment God of War came out and became one of the best games that ever released this generation, and it was followed up by Spider-Man, PlayStation already sold PlayStation 5s.
I've been saying that forever. I said that when Horizon Zero Dawn came out.
People are still trying to find reasons to buy the next. They're still trying to find reasons to buy an Xbox One X. So how are you going to go out and buy a Scarlet? But me personally, this is what I think. I think you're absolutely correct because Microsoft doesn't even have a mindset around console right now. They're just feeding the base saying, hey, there's going to be a system if you want it, but there will be other alternatives for you to play your games too. So I think system-wise, bloodbath 100%. Now, when it comes to software, I think that's where Microsoft is going to basically show what they have, and it may not be just because of it might not be because of their exclusive games. It might just be the sheer amount of places you can get the game at and how they want, and just having that ability to spread themselves so wide with their different services. That's what Microsoft always wanted to be. I said it in a video I made. I'm mad at Microsoft for being who they are this whole generation because they pretty much gave up at the end of the 360 generation for the last 2 years. They gave us absolutely nothing. After we got Gears of War Judgment, that was pretty much it. And then for us to get 2.5 to 3 years worth of nothing, the Xbox One launched. Some people say it was a good launch. I say, after thinking about it, they had 3 years to give us something better, and they didn't. They gave us third-party, basically, games that were rehashed in Kinect. So that was the problem I had then. And then when you think about the rest of the generation, third party pretty much carried the Xbox throughout it. Outside of Gears 4, Halo 5, if you like the multiplayer, was really not Halo 5. Yeah, Halo 5. It was the multiplayer was good, single player was whatever, blah blah blah. But I think next generation software will be the biggest thing for them because they're not focusing on hardware no more. They're doing exactly what they did with all their other services. Just like you can buy a physical copy of Office, but guess what? Most people pay the $9.99 to get the whole suite, so they ain't got to worry about anything. And right now, Microsoft has set this precedent for $1 Game Pass, and people are going to be so used to it. And this is the psychology around it. People are so used to having these games now. They're giving these games away right now for $1, saying, "Hey, once these people get hooked to having this service, when we do raise it back up to $14.99, they're going to be like, man, I'm so used to having all these freaking games, I got to pay that $14.99."
Like Netflix.
Exactly. And that's the reason they're doing it. So I think, and Matt Piscatella was on Brap last month, and he said it, and we kind of questioned him on it. He said, unfortunately, Game Pass does sell games. The data does show that the games that are in Game Pass do go to incremental sales that do make a difference for Microsoft.
Now,
here's the thing that is going to happen.
Here's the magic bullet to that. Here's the magic, the $25 million question.
Yep.
With EA, with Ubisoft, and other people creating their own stores for the actual console, right? Mm-hmm. That's going to be less incentive for them to put their game in Game Pass. So eventually, we're going to see a reverse trend. So how?
But those games aren't in Game Pass. I mean,
they're not in Game Pass now. So
some of them are. Ubisoft's games are in Game Pass, and Ubisoft is creating their own service now. Part of their service is giving you, like, say, the season pass for Division 3 or something, whatever coming out.
And then you're
getting all that
with Destiny. Activision or whatever with Destiny and the Call of Duties. Everybody's creating their own store. All of these major companies and publishers are creating their own store. So Game Pass is going to become yet just another store where you can get the games. But I'm afraid it's going to be left with just Microsoft's first party store, which we know their first party is lacking. So
I don't know if Game Pass is going to be, because the way when you have multiple companies entering into a new service or a new market or a new version of the market, what ends up happening is that it's survival of the fittest, and some of that stuff falls off. So, like, EA's got their own thing, Ubisoft's got their own thing, there's Game Pass, there's all these different services, right? Some of them, 2 years from now, we're not going to be talking about some of these because they're going to be introduced. And some people, and a lot of them, aren't going to hit the numbers that these publishers think they're going to hit, and then they're going to stop offering it. And so what's going to end up happening is that 2 years from now, we may be talking about, right now, we may be talking about like half a dozen of them, but then 2 years from now, it was only like 2 or 3.
Well, it's just like with EA Access. Think about how Sony was so gung-ho and said we don't need that on our platform. But now it's coming to that platform later this year because they proved that they were able to keep a service like that and maintain it throughout the thing. And it became a valuable thing that the Xbox had. That's going to go away later this year when it finally goes over to PS4. But all the rest of those services, like Uplay, Uplay is a thing, but only people on PC really know about it. If they do bring it over to console, is it really going to make a dent? I mean,
no, that's what they're doing is not Uplay. It's
well, I mean, it's their own. I'm just saying Uplay is where you can get the games, but I'm just saying, think about the games that they have. Most of their games are most of their games are service based. First of all, outside of Tomb Raider and stuff like that, but Rainbow Six. Now, if you're going to have some type of subscription service where you're going to be able to get like currency to go into these games that you like play continuously, I can see that. If you're one of those people that like to be in an ecosystem like how Activision had Destiny, like if you could subscribe to whatever service that Destiny's in, and every month you able to get things out of it that you can't get from anywhere else, then I can see a service like that taking off. But Microsoft, as much as we give them crap about the way that they're going with this whole service thing, which I think is the best thing for them, because ultimately they're a software company. They only made a system to try to get in people's home. They couldn't people didn't want to hook a PC up to their TV. We've been telling people for years that all you got to do is take an HDMI and plug it up to your damn TV, and you got a fucking Xbox in your living room, but they don't want to listen to us. So Microsoft said in 2001, we're going to force our way into the living room. And that's what they did. Now they got a name out there. They got the name Xbox out there. They put a thing called Game Pass around it and say, hey, guess what? You don't even need the console. We got this service and all these games that's available for you to play. And the thing is, yes, some people will pull their games out of Game Pass just because they have their own service. But I mean, Kratos, you're a businessman. You know, you do a lot of stuff for people in the community. You think if you have a way of being able to put your stuff everywhere and have it in more than just one place, you're going to take advantage of that, especially if it's not really costing you any money to do it.
Listen, I agree with that, but here's the problem, right? My gamer side come in, and I'm like, at heart, you've sold us 5 consoles this generation.
I agree.
You can't just abandon us and tell us, well, you know what? We don't care where you play. Go play on the PlayStation. Go play on the Switch. Go play wherever, the PC or your mobile phone. We still have an app that you can use that'll allow you to have all of our games on it. Like it's.
But are we gonna smite ourselves though? Just because of that, like I agree.
I get it, but that's the conflict between my business side and my gamer side, because
I agree.
That's going to piss off a lot of gamers, right? Because a lot of people spend multiple $500 for these things in preparation that they were going to bring the great games and compete for the higher end. And now you're telling me they don't care where we play? That's
PlayStation.
I'm gonna tell you like this, Craig, and I agree, Craig, and I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm a person that I got 3 systems free. I got my X free, and I got my Spider-Man system, my PS4 Pro free, and I got my original PS4 Pro free from Microsoft, for PlayStation. Xbox, I bought 3 Xboxes from them physically.
On Forte's house.
Right. I bought 3 Xboxes physically from them. So I spent real dollars, at least $1,500 on systems from them. You know, and I get you and I understand that, but guess what? Just like I said on Brap a while ago, I'm like, look, man, I would be smiting myself if I would say that $14.99 is not worth all the games that they're giving you in a service. And guess what? I don't even have to play on the Xbox to do it. Or if I do want to play on the Xbox, I still have an Xbox One X that I feel like still has a lot of juice left in it because it's being held back by previous consoles and stuff.
And that's exactly
this. You know what?
Go ahead.
My first statement when we started this, you guys can rewind the tapes. I said this is why I think the PlayStation 5 next generation is going to be a bloodbath. I think
it is going to be one.
It's going to mop the floor with the Scarlet, and I think it's going to be like 100 consoles to 1.
Oh, come on.
Oh, you said 100 to 1. Kratos, the one's going to be you, Kratos, right? Because Kratos buys everything.
Here's the thing, though, right? Kratos, they know that. They already know that it's going to be like that.
Who knows?
And that's why they have put. That's why they have like, oh, you can play on your, all the new games that are coming out on Scarlet on your One X. You can play on PC. You can play on Steam. They already know. They've already created in preparation of losing next gen to not having to deal with just the fact that Scarlet's not going to sell. They're already in a position to sell their software without it.
Look,
Microsoft, guys, real quick, come out because I want to get V Money just hopped in a couple minutes ago.
V Money.
Yo, what's going on? Yeah,
I heard you say something. What were you about to say, man?
Nah, like Slow-Mo was saying with the whole preparation. That's the reason why the console is backward and forward compatible, because they know that people aren't running out there to buy Scarlet. They haven't given people a reason to. I would feel coming out admitting that the games have not been up to par. You know what I mean? You can see that writing was on the wall. So people aren't going to be running out there to spend $400 or $500 on a new console. We're going to make our games available for the people who already own the console. You don't have to run out and get them. You spend $15 a month and you still get all those same games. You can still get Halo day one, and if you got Game Pass for $1 and you got your subscription and it's till 2022, good. You already got the game. And if you didn't, guess what? $15.
Listen, this reminds me of the Dreamcast days. It really does.
Oh my God!
I lived those.
Someone else
days
said that
and-
too. But actually, it was crap yesterday. We did this podcast with him, J-Dub. He said it reminded him of the days of Sega.
Yeah, it's like the last couple of years, you can just smell what's coming. It was awful, man. As a Dreamcast guy,
He said it was awful.
The thing with Dreamcast is that and Sega is that they didn't have any foresight.
They had the great games though.
They didn't have
the great games.
But they didn't have any foresight.
Microsoft knows.
Have the great games.
This is the thing, though. Microsoft knows they're fighting a losing battle when it comes to the software, the hardware side of it. And, yeah,
I'm sorry. Finish your thought, and then I want to ask you a question. But go ahead, man.
No, I was saying no. Microsoft knows they're going to lose the hardware side. They have no chance of winning. It's just Microsoft isn't in enough territories with a strong base compared to Sony. The difference is, I just feel like I say, I go back to Microsoft. They just want to be Microsoft. They don't want to be anything other than that. And unfortunately, like you said, it does suck that all the people that put all their hard-earned money and all their hard-earned time into a service, into the ecosystem of Xbox. But guess what? I did the poll a while ago, and I asked people why they bought Xboxes, and the Xbox community is real fractured on why they bought systems. Some of them bought them for exclusives, like 30% bought it for exclusives. Another 29% bought them because they like new tech, and the other and the other 30% bought it because it was the ecosystem. The ecosystem was something. And the thing is, the ecosystem of Xbox will still be there. You'll still have your friends. You'll still have all the people that you like to communicate and play games with. It just isn't going to be on a central box anymore. After this generation, next generation, don't even think Microsoft's going to bring a box to the table anymore.
All right. Okay, so real quick, I want to go back to Forte real quick. And what is it? What is the GameStop event called?
GameStop X.
That you're going
Expo,
to
GameStop Expo.
Okay, so I don't know if you were here, B Money, and I think maybe you were here, Slimo, but the GameStop Expo is August 25th, and Forte was telling us that he had heard that Microsoft was not going to be there. They had been there every year that he's been there, presenting, showing games, right?
Yep.
And so they're not going to be there. Like you looked at the the floor plan. They're not there. Sony's there, their usual spot. Nintendo's there. And I find it odd because you guys are the biggest physical retailer, video games, right?
Yep.
And doesn't Microsoft have a big exclusive coming out in September?
Gears of War, the game that they don't promote.
They are mad at y'all for not selling their sad edition. That's why they ain't coming to your expo. Screw your expo. That's what they say.
Yep, pretty much.
No, but seriously, like, isn't that odd that they're not going to be at one of the largest gaming retailer in the U.S.? They're not going to be there at their expo to show this game, to get people hyped for it. They're not going to even be there. And when you were talking about, like, wait, what about Gears? When you said the date, I'm like, wait a minute, what about Gears? Like, should they be showing Gears there? I remember you told me like last year they showed Spider-Man, or maybe it wasn't last year, but they showed Spider-Man, The Last of Us. I remember last year. It's so funny. I can't believe it's been a year already. I remember when you came back, Forte, you were talking about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh yeah, because Microsoft showed it on their. No, it was Sony that showed it on their stage. Microsoft didn't show it.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
But isn't that odd, like Forte and B? I want to get your thoughts on this, man, because I know you just hopped in. Like B, don't you think it's kind of odd that they're missing the largest like retailer expo for the gaming industry, like for your biggest retailer in the industry, that they're missing the expo where they could show off Gears of War, and that's the Gears of War 5's their next big franchise, the tentpole franchise for them.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Right.
That's the problem. Like all the great marketing stuff that we used to remember Microsoft for, it's not being done anymore because Game Pass is there.
Yeah, but this is GameStop Expo. Like, they're there to share.
They don't care.
That makes no sense to me, man.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Physical stuff is not what Microsoft even cares about. Even going to promote Gears is not what they care about because they've already had it set in stone that this is how they're going to roll out the game. So they don't need people to talk about it. It's going to be in Game Pass.
Look, $1 promotion is how you promote the game, I guess.
Exactly.
And Chips Ahoy.
And Chips Ahoy.
Because gamers, we love our Chips Ahoy.
Hey, wait till the Mountain Dew ads start popping.
I don't mind Mountain Dew or Doritos, but I don't know about Chips Ahoy, man. I think Chips Ahoy. That shit's butt, man.
Chewy or chunky?
Nah, Chips Ahoy is not even real cookies, man. I don't know what the hell that is.
He said they not even real cookies. Oh, so you all about that? You all about that Toll House? The one?
Yeah, I'm about that.
You put them in the oven yourself.
Yes, I'm about the fresh life, that fresh cookie shit. Not. I don't even know what. I don't even know what. Like, it's not even like. If you look, bite into a homemade chocolate chip cookie. And bite into a Chips Ahoy, and you'd be like, "What? You know what Chips Ahoy is? Dog snacks. That's what it
is." Don't call me Getty. Says Oreos or go home.
I'm telling you, Chips Ahoy smells like dog snacks.
Oh my god!
But I just find it. B, I can't believe you just answered like that. B said they don't care. I don't get it, man. I just like
it's honest. He's being honest, and it's true. They don't care.
I don't understand. I just don't.
Look, the one thing that we can rely on in this industry is that Microsoft will do something that doesn't make sense.
That's facts.
That is the new reality that people just need to get their head around so that we've learned this generation. Yeah. They're going to do things. They march to the beat of their own drummer, and he can't carry a beat. So it's all out of tune. It doesn't make any sense, but that's them, and they're going to do them. They're going to go left when everyone goes right. Everyone is saying, hey, to get our games, our quality games, you have to buy our hardware, get into our ecosystem. They say, no, we're going to go to whatever you're using. Your cell phone, cool. Your PC, cool. Hey, we'll even try to put our games on the competitions machine, but they won't let us. That is where they are now.
They won't let us. They're not letting us play in the sandbox, damn it.
Yeah, that's where they are now, and it's a whole new thing. It has not been done before in the video game, in the history of video games. This has not been done before. So this will either be an epic success.
Hey, Forte, you got something in the live chat, man. You better address.
Who said it? Oh, here we go.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I just think it's hard to compete when you do stuff like that. Like, yeah, you don't show up to an expo. You got one of your tempo franchises, like you said. Everybody who's a Gears fan is anticipating this game coming out. You've led everything up to all this anticipation because we haven't seen the campaign. Here's your chance. It's literally like a week, 10 days before the game is about to release to go to the expo. But the thing is they probably wouldn't show any of the campaign stuff because they wouldn't want to leak out. So all they would do really was just show us the multiplayer, which everybody just played the game over the weekend. So
yep.
Yeah, but they're under NDA. Like when Forte goes there, he's under NDA, right? Forte.
Let me ask you something.
Some of the stuff I'm under NDA, and most of it you're not.
Enrique.
Yes.
So you think the people who saw the Avengers game was under NDA?
Oh,
probably not.
Yeah, they were.
Video was.
They were.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, were they really?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they were. Look, man. There was. All right. So people always put like this when like that Red Dead trailer.
Just go back to my point.
That Red Dead trailer that I talked about last year on BRAP. I came on while I was at conference and talked about how it was the boringest thing I've ever seen in my life because we literally watched the life of whoever play out in front of us. But it was still a great game. But they said even before they put it up on the screen, they told people not to take video of it. And guess what happened? Not even 2 hours later, a news site had basically gameplay showing them doing things in the environment. So I don't care what they say about NDAs. People always break that
Saw
crap.
Forte walking past the camera.
No, it wasn't Forte. Trust me, it wasn't Forte. I looked at that. Hey, the funny thing is, I looked at the video, and because I know how the room was situated,
Yeah, you
I
can
was
tell
like,
where it was shot from.
I was like, oh shoot, this was shot from in the area close to where we were because we were over in that same exact area. So I was like, "Ooh, somebody in trouble," but they probably just never got caught.
Look, and you know, if GameStop was paying better, maybe dude wouldn't have sold that video to IGN or whoever. But no, look, it's
repercussions from that, I guess.
But look, like unless you set up metal detectors in the room to prevent people and say, "Hey, look, we will hand you back your cell phone once this is over," you're not going to be able to keep it from leaking. It is what it is. People are going to record it, and then if you see someone with their phone, they're just like, "Oh, I'm just taking notes."
But even then, I mean, hey, but you're looking at August 20. Let's say they come in. I think the last day is the 29th. I think.
Hey, Enrique, I'm gonna send you a link.
Right.
If you can share it, I'm just gonna send you the raw link to the website. If you can share it, then go ahead. I just don't know if you have to. I don't think you have to log in, so it's knowledge if people know what website to go to see it. I'm about to put it in the chat so you can see it.
What link is this?
It's the link to the conference website for Gamestop.
Oh, okay. So, but it goes back to my point though. Like, if let's say the Microsoft shows up on the 28th or the 29th, and yeah, I get it. Like, they don't want the campaign to leak, right? But why not? I mean, who cares? I mean, at this point, you're so close to launch, and if you're confident about your campaign, you don't show it. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just
they told us that they weren't showing us the campaign.
Yeah, I know.
Until 2 days before the game releases.
Yeah, I don't think that link is you don't have to log in, so everything on there you can see.
Okay.
So it's public, it's a public website, so you can actually just look at it. But if you go on that first page, if you look at the very bottom, you see where it says the GME conference 2019.
Yep.
If you click on that for the thing, it takes you to another screen. And on the bottom left right hand side, it says 2019 GME Expo.
Hey, can we share this with the live chat?
I don't care. I mean, it's a public website.
All right. I just want to make sure, man.
It's a public website, so as long as I just wanted to make sure it was public.
Yeah,
even Bandai Namco is there.
Yeah,
Bandai's there. I mean, this is just, I don't get it, man.
Even crappy Bethesda is there. I mean, no one's going to want to actually see any of their games, but they're there, you know.
You said crappy Bethesda's there. Hey, what am I looking at now? I'm looking at meeting. What am I looking at here?
Oh, you're looking at the meeting plan. It basically is the breakdown of all of the different meeting.
No, where do I go to see what Slum was looking at?
Oh, he's looking. What are you looking at, Slum? Are you looking at the floor plan? Or are you looking at
the floor plan?
Yeah, he's just looking. Oh, that's the 2009. That's the GME Expo.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you know, it's I think there's someone at Microsoft that has convinced the Xbox leadership that they don't need to market their games anymore. That they can just market Game Pass, and then in turn market their games. And they've sold them on this because they say, well, if we're not marketing individual games, we're just marketing Game Pass. We're going to save money, and we can use that money towards other things. But unless Game Pass massively blows up, it's not going to work. So
guys, Game Pass, right?
2K is going to be there.
Listen, Game Pass, and this is why I don't understand the model that they've worked up. Yes, if everyone goes and stays with the subscription, it's sustainable. But what's not sustainable is their games that they add to there, because Microsoft just doesn't have enough compelling first-party games on there to keep people coming back.
Right.
I'm going to sign up for Game Pass again. Because Gears coming out, I'm going to play it within a couple of days or within a week or so. I'll probably get tired of it, and I'll let my subscription lapse, and then I'll wait for the next big game that I have.
Right.
which will be next year sometime.
But we know how lazy people are, Kratos. You're just not one of the lazy people.
Yeah,
there are people who go months and months without, like, they signed up for something like Hulu, right? And they got on Hulu to watch one TV show. They watched the whole series, and then like 6 months later, they're like, "Oh yeah, I have Hulu," but they've been paying for Hulu for half a year.
Well, perfect example. My brother, I love my brother. Shout out to my brother, because I went to go see him in Tennessee this past weekend. Amazing. Love my brother. But this dude, I was telling him about Game Pass. I was like, bro, because he has an Xbox One X. And I said, bro, you don't have Game Pass because you better sign up for that $1 because you got he had like 12 months, like 18 months of Xbox Live, and he had like 3 months of Game Pass. I said, bro, sign up for $1 and get all that stuff added together. He didn't know what I was talking about. Come to find out, his subscription for Xbox Live had already lapsed and he didn't even know it. He was paying $9.99 a month for Xbox Live for 17 months straight. And he was paying for Game Pass out of his pocket. I was like, bro, you do realize I game share with you. So you get Xbox Live Gold for free with my game share. He said, yeah, I know. That's why I'm canceling this right now. But he literally went 17 months. He looked at his account. He paid $9.99 a month for 17 months straight. It is only because he wasn't even thinking about it. He just thought it was there. I was like, bro.
And that's that kind of revenue. There's a lot of people that just kind of give these companies. Well, and it's not just the gaming industry. It's in any industry that has these kind of things. They just get revenue off of people like that. Now, to Kratos' point about like the software, I know they've said before that they're trying to have a new first party game come out per quarter, which is kind of unheard of. And you need a lot of developers making a lot of games in order to really make that work. Especially if you consider things like delays, a game development schedule not going the way it was intended to go. And then next thing you know, you're going to have a quarter where there are no games coming out. But even if they could get that done with the current crop of studios they have, who already had prior engagements, who already are making multi-plat games that are still have not yet to be released, you're looking at like 2022 to 2023 before they're really like in your pipeline bringing your games out. And by then, I mean, it's already over.
Right. And
it's already over at that point.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. You never, like he talked about delays and stuff in games, and that can really hurt a service. Like I bought EA Premiere for PC. I did it for Anthem, which, oh my God. But so I paid $100 for that just to get it a week early. And I put 70 hours into Anthem. Now, I feel like I got my money's worth. The game is still crap. Me and Slow-Mo tried to defend that game to our dying breath until we just couldn't defend it no more. And
I know that what you speak.
Well, we never tried to defend it. We tried to defend it.
I don't know anything. What is an anthem? What is that? It's a national anthem?
Yeah, but up until that point, I was saying like, man, what else is I'm gonna get with this $100 I put into EA Premiere? And then it honestly didn't come into focus to me until Star Wars got announced, because Star Wars is going to be in that ecosystem now. But it really just comes down to like how those games are going to form. Like, are they going to have games to feel like Ubisoft? Are they going to have games consistently in there for you to pay whatever the amount of money they want you to pay? Or are they going to have some type of service where you get like in-game items or in-game currency to like their biggest games like Rainbow Six or Ghost Recon?
They've already said that. They've already said, well, at least what Ubisoft has. I don't know about EA, but Ubisoft has already said you're going to get that stuff. You're going to get all the season passes, all the ultimate editions of all their new games free. And then you also get access to their back catalog just by being signed up for Ubisoft service without having to actually pay additional for not the full back catalog, but some games up to a certain point. Excuse me.
Yeah,
what I'm thinking is that that's just not going to work overall. Now, the difference between Game Pass and what Ubisoft is doing is that Game Pass gets games every now and then. Like take the Blair Witch game. That's not their game, but that's going to be for like launch day and date in Game Pass. Ubisoft not getting stuff like that. It's only their published games. And Ubisoft publishes a lot of games. They drop like 4 games a year.
Hey, J-Dub, can you mute your mic, man? We're getting some feedback, like some noise in the background.
You're getting some from me? Okay.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Cool. Yeah, so you're getting like 4 games a year from Ubisoft, and plus you're getting all the additional content. But if you're not invested in the Ubisoft community, if you're kind of person who doesn't like, I may play one Ubisoft game a year. I'm not buying all their games. I'm not getting Far Cry and The Division and Rainbow Six and Assassin's Creed. I'm not getting all of that. If that's not you, and I think that's probably the majority of gamers, you're probably not going to sign up for this. So I think like with all these services, everyone's trying to do this. That's why I say in 2 years, this stuff's going to be out the door because it's not going to work.
Let me tell you, the one reason I think EA did so well, and I don't know why other ones didn't like kind of do the same thing. They didn't charge you. I mean, there was a monthly option for it, but the better option was just to pay for the whole year. You know, Sony, EA, $100 for Premiere and get access to the whole backlog plus the full copy of a game that releases on like day, and you actually get it a week earlier if you do it through that, is a really, really good idea. And that's why EA has done very, very well with their subscription service, because you're not being nickeled and dimed monthly if you don't want to be. You can literally just drop the $100 and get access to all of their titles early, no matter what they are throughout the year. Where I think the only reason Microsoft is as good as it is because the sheer amount of games you get in it. Like you can literally pay $1 right now, but you can literally pay $14.99 and get over 350 titles instantly on your Xbox. That's why that service is really good. Nobody else has a service like that outside of Sony, and theirs is better. Is getting better because they have a download option, but it's just not priced.
I have PS now. There's a good number of games. There are a large number of games in PS now that are also in Game Pass.
Yeah, so, they are.
And I'd say probably the majority of them are games that you can download, because the only ones that you have to stream are the PS3 games.
The PS3 games, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, PS Now gets a bad rap. It's not. What
is the price of PS Now? No.
Well, when I got it,
Well, I know you got the year for like $30.
Hold on. How much would it be money?
It's $100 for the year.
Yeah, $100 for the year.
Yeah, I got a deal where it was $60 for the year.
I know you got it off Amazon. You made me mad.
Yeah, I was like, what? So, I was like,
if you look at Game Pass, 15, a month, it's what?
Well, PS Now is like 20 a month, so it's even that's more expensive than
but you said you can get it for $100 a year though.
Yeah, it's cheaper to get PS Now for a year.
Do you still have the requirement to get Xbox?
No, if you do regular Game Pass, you don't have to do Xbox Live. If you do Ultimate for $15 a month, then it comes with Xbox Live with it.
Yeah, so the regular Game Pass, you still need to have Xbox Live.
You still, in order to play multiplayer, you still have to have that Xbox Live, even if you're with Game Pass.
Yeah.
So there's still a requirement there.
There's still the requirement.
PlayStation doesn't have that requirement.
So PlayStation does have the requirement for the games that are in PlayStation Now.
PS Now.
No.
Well, I know the PS3 games don't have it because it was free on PS3.
PlayStation doesn't have the paywall for free-to-play games either. You don't have.
I know they don't have that. That's one thing that Microsoft needs to definitely fix. People playing on Fortnite, they got to pay over here.
They don't care.
They right.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I want to transition.
Enrique, before you do that, Ryan Landis just had like probably the funniest comment in the chat. The good news is that all your gaming frustrations will be gone as soon as Stadia launches.
I think they'll all start again.
I'm mad at Google right now because today is the last day that we can use Hangouts on air.
Oh, it is the last day. What did we already set up what we're gonna do through OBS?
Yeah, I think we're gonna do OBS and to chat through Discord. I got to get together with either Boomstick or
I can help you with it because I already know how to set up OBS stuff.
Because what's his face? Graphic guy was actually gonna. I was talking to him. He offered to help, like show me like kind of the ropes. Like I can stream OBS through YouTube. Like I know how to do that. That's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But I need to figure out like the like the audio piece and getting like Discord into OBS and then streaming everything, and why my streaming health wasn't good when I tried it. So anyhow, Indie Gamer says I heard Hangouts is staying just rebranded. I mean, there's still, you could still broadcast from YouTube, like YouTube Live. The problem is you can't do like a you can't invite people. You.
It's a simple. Yeah, it's just you and only you.
So what is the rebrand? What's the new Hangouts Live being called if it's being rebranded?
No, it's just YouTube game. YouTube live stream. Yeah, that's all it's gonna be.
And it's like this where you can invite people?
No, you can't.
You can't invite people.
So that's not even the same thing. That's not even the same.
No, it's not. No, you can still stream, but you can't invite people.
Literally, they have a button. If you look at your dashboard, there's a button that says "Go Live."
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
and that's basically the new streaming for YouTube going forward.
That's
crazy. But yeah. Anyhow, I wanna go to another topic here real quick. Fire Emblem Three Houses released. What things like 2 weeks ago now? Is that?
No, last week.
Last Friday, and it's trash.
Shut up! You haven't even played.
Oh my god! I'm about to mute you, man. I'm about to mute you.
Listen. I gotta throw rocks at glass houses because y'all been talking all this Fire Emblem talk inside the chat, and I do have the game. I just haven't started playing it yet.
Wow, I'm shocked that Forte bought a game and didn't play it. Really?
Oh Lord! Here we go.
All right, real quick, everyone all right. So let's get a raise of hands here. Who has purchased? And I'll go down everyone's name. Jada, have you purchased Fire Emblem?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Slow-mo, I know you did. Forte.
Yes, I did. I did purchase it with my own money.
With your money. B-Money, did you pick it up?
Hell yeah, I did, man.
And he played 20 minutes. And he played 20 minutes of it.
Actually,
that's more than you.
I haven't even cracked the seal on it. I'm trying to.
I believed in you.
I want to hear it, bro. You better show that same energy, bro.
I got it. I got it on Friday. Then I went to Cedar Point on Saturday.
Man,
so Sunday was my chill day. I didn't do nothing. I was trying to finish Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and I just haven't got to it yet. But I'm definitely playing it this weekend, man.
See, I want that same type of love to me because I did the same thing. I bought it on Thursday night before I left. I know I bought it on Thursday night before I left to go to Tennessee. I drove from Michigan to Tennessee on Friday morning. Didn't get to Tennessee until 7 in the afternoon.
We don't need to hear about your driving itinerary.
So I spent time with my family on Friday and Saturday, and I went to a water park on Sunday, and I came home on Monday. Man. I'm not like some people that go to the beach and play with their Switch.
That's no one on this panel.
You're right.
You talked about hardhead.
Yeah, I don't know anyone. Let me tell you something. My wife would look at me sideways. I went to the beach. My kids were in the water, and I'm playing Nintendo Switch. That'd be a problem. But
right. Yeah, Ryan. He called it trash.
Oh my!
That's the difference. B-Money didn't call it trash. He just said he ain't played it yet.
I already know it's amazing. I've been talking about the game for forever.
Throwing rocks at glass houses. I don't think it's trash. It's actually a really good game.
I will say this. I'll give you my quick synopsis of the game. I put in about 3 hours so far, so not a lot. But I was going to pick this game up later on.
3 hours. That's it.
Yeah, man. Dude, I'm busy.
The game is like an 80 to 100 hour game. Did you even break the seal on a game for 3 hours?
Well, first of all, you haven't even
broke the guy who hasn't played the game.
I'm just being controversial.
You have no room to comment, man. You haven't even played the game yet. and you give me a hard time.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Forte, hey, you about to get muted, man.
Okay, I'm on timeout. I'm sorry.
You be the first Brad Pitt.
I'm on timeout, bro. Ryan Atlantis is on my side. Let's go.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. Ryan's not on your side. Actually, I played about 4 hours, and
I guess that took the wrapper off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You up, Forte? You about to get muted, man. You haven't even played the game, Forte.
Well, 4 hours into a 100-hour game.
You probably still have. You got 0 hours in a 100-hour game.
Oh man, I ain't even took the plastic off yet. You're right.
It's probably still at the store.
It's not at the store. It's definitely not at the store.
It's probably, you know what? It's probably in the drawer that you guys have behind the register where you put the open copies or whatever.
Are you trying to say that it's still in the pre-order drawer?
Yeah. You got yours is this on the display case, and the actual cartridge is behind that little drawer.
Man, mine's is actually sitting inside the display unit of the Switch so people can play. You know, I'm letting people get a little bit of gameplay in before I bring it home.
Yeah. All right. So yes, I've only played.
I'm so disappointed in you guys. I am.
But look, you know,
we talked
how many hours you got?
I don't even know how many hours I got. It's a lot because I've been playing the hell out. This is for now, like it's for a long time. I basically just had my Switch in the dock and hadn't taken it out. I've been carrying my Switch around with me now.
Look at that our Nintendo franchise.
Let me just finish real quick.
Wait, have you played anything other than Fire Emblem Slow-Mo?
What? On my Switch?
No, anything period other than Fire Emblem since it's been out.
No, that's all I've been playing.
So as Enrique, what he was playing with me yesterday instead of playing Fire Emblem.
We were playing Destiny to help Eric get leveled up to 690.
That Fire Emblem didn't capture him enough because he was playing freaking Destiny.
Hey, you know what? No, you know what? I wanted to play Fire Emblem, but you know we were trying to help Eric out. I help my man out. You know.
Okay, I got you. I love Eric too.
I will be playing.
Shout out to Gaming Addict in the chat. He says he's got 29 hours. I don't think I got. I'm probably close to him, but I don't think I got that much.
See, that's taking the game out of the wrapper, out of the case, putting it in your Switch, falling asleep with it on your face. That's what 29 hours is, sir. Not 4 hours.
It's Fire Emblem. It's not Destiny. Okay? So people don't fall asleep in orbit.
It takes 800 hours to fall asleep with the controller in your hand on Destiny.
All right. Forte, you're about to get muted, man. I have to put him in timeout. Slow-mo. Isn't he your brother? Where's Luca?
I don't know. Yeah, he need to get together. Well, Luca told me Forte been ignoring her and avoiding her. So I don't know. That's what she told me.
When was this?
This was earlier today. That was like 6:30. She told me that.
I don't play a lot of tactical turn-based RPGs. I don't think I played one since Valkyria Chronicles, and that thing came out like 2 years ago. I think maybe longer than that on PlayStation 4, the remastered version of that game. But like I said, I like what I've seen so far. I will say this: Manuela is thirsty as fuck. And I'm like, what is wrong?
I thought Nintendo only made kiddie games.
Oh, now with Fire Emblem.
And I always said to Slow-Mo, I said, why is she so thirsty? I mean, and she is thirsty. I mean, it is. Forte Slow-Mo, I went to go see her in her room. Oh my God, she was like so happy, and you know, like I guess whatever I said to her, I think coming to visit her like increased better my relationship with her. But I will say this: I mean, from at least a brief when you kind of get a little bit of a tutorial in the game. I think I'm looking forward to digging into it more. It's even though I've only been at the castle or the school for the time that I've been playing it.
It seems to me in your 4 hours, you spent 3.5 of it staring at Manuela.
Yeah, he loves Manuela.
So he ain't played the game like I said.
I'm talking, Forte. You haven't played anything.
Okay? I did. Hey, at least I said I didn't play it.
Forte, you You are not part of this conversation because you have played zero, my friend.
Let me talk about this game. This game right now.
Wait, real quick. I do want to say
What else do you have to talk about? Can you play 4 hours?
Oh, let me I will say,
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I like the voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, no, not Manuela's voice acting, not just hers.
Yeah, hers ain't that great, and her and one other person aren't that great.
Yeah, I think for the most part, the voice acting is pretty good, and some of the different characters and stuff that I've interacted with, I've enjoyed the dialogue. And I actually, it's kind of been like a relaxing game for me. It's really weird. Like it's like I just pick up the Switch. And I'm like, oh, I'm just relaxing. Walking around the school and talking to people and doing little side missions. So, yes, only 4 hours. Hey, okay, 0 hours.
I never. That's what I never claimed that I played
going in.
Time.
Addict is going in the chat. He said you spend more time podcasting than playing.
See, look. I'd rather have 0 hours than have 4. At least you played the game.
Hey, Addict, I've only podcasted once this week.
that you ain't do no rants this week.
I haven't done any rants, man. But I've been playing. But
The week's early. I played
Destiny. I was playing Judgment.
Oh, that don't sound like Fire Emblem to me.
No. So but you know what? It was actually Attic, because I think Attic was in live chat talking about Fire Emblem, or I think it was on ILP on Sunday, and I was like, yo, I got to go out and get it. So I went out and bought it. They still had copies at my local GameStop. I'm hearing that people are having trouble finding copies of the game.
Oh yeah, so, we're sold out right now.
But okay, so
wait, hold on, wait. I did go with the Black Eagle, so
okay. Everyone has chosen Black Eagle. Everyone chose Black Eagle because the leader of that house is pretty cool. Yeah. I chose Blue Lion because it was, I thought, the least interesting house, and I wanted to start with them first because I plan on playing this game multiple times. And I wanted to basically it's almost kind of like, well, I'm not gonna say like Harry Potter, but it's like you have a choice of different houses, and you can choose a house, you stick with that house. If you choose a house, you're stuck with that house for the rest of the game. But then like all the students within your house that you're teaching, they have their own subplots, their own side stories. All that stuff's awesome. And it gets really in depth with each character. So each playthrough can be completely different. You can romance pretty much. I haven't got to the point where I'm even advanced enough to really romance a lot of people, but you can do that. Like where I think you got to get up to your relationship with them has to get up to like a grade A or something like that in order to get to that point. But that's possible. I'm really enjoying it. The only way to play a game like this, and I love strategy RPGs, the only way to play a game like this is to have permadeath on. The tension, the each battle is so intense and important because you make one mistake and you can get one of your people killed, like a really important person killed, and you do have this ability to kind of because there's like the spirit that's with you that has the ability to kind of turn back time, but it's limited. So you can't abuse that. You can't keep making a ton of mistakes in battle. It's just great. I think in my first battle I lost 2 people, and I lost 2 people because when the girl was talking about how you do it, how you turn back time, my sweet daughter, 3 years old, came to me asking me for something, and I completely was not paying attention. And then one of my people died, and I was like, "Yo, how do I get this guy back?" But like what he said kind of threw me off. He was all like, "Oh, well, I guess I have to bow out," kind of something like that. And I'm like, "Oh, well, maybe he's not dead. Maybe I'm not at the point where my battles are permadeath." Nah, he was dead. So I was like, "Oh man." So, but I almost wanted to start over at that point, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. I'm really enjoying. I'm at the point now where, I'm not gonna say spoilers, but the game is, if you're into RPGs and particularly strategy RPGs, huh?
You said Manuela gets arrested.
I said, Manuela. It reminds me of those like female high school teachers who get arrested for sleeping with their students. That's what she reminds me of. But I'm not as focused on Manuela as Enrique is. So I mean, there are other teachers.
Look, man, I want to know.
No, you can't comment on this game.
No, I want to listen. First of all, Slow-Mo just went through that whole conversation, talked to a person that's got 4 hours in the game.
Are you serious? You've been talking for the majority of this podcast about how you drove.
Listen. I want to hear from our illustrious guest because I guarantee he's got more hours than 4. J-Dub, how do you
wait. Hold on.
No, we need to hear from J-Dub.
You know what? How about Forte, shut up and let me finish what I gotta say about this game.
Oh my God.
How are you still talking about a game you have not even played?
He just got put in timeout, man. He's muted.
Right. So,
oh my God.
So what? Well, I'm gonna say that this Fire Emblem Three Houses is my game of the year right now.
Is this your first Fire Emblem, Slow-Mo?
This is my first Fire Emblem. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
No, Fire Emblem is a great series.
About? Look, Forte about to get fired up right now. Look, it's my first Fire Emblem game. It's not my first strategy RPG game. Like I played through all the XCOM games. I play these kind of games all the time. It's my first Fire Emblem game. It's not my first game in this kind of genre. So I don't know what you're laughing about. That's one. Two, because previous Fire Emblem games is not this Fire Emblem game. This Fire Emblem game is very, very, very good. So when I say this is my game of the year, I'm basing it off of not because I've never played a strategy RPG before, but because this is actually a quality, great game. The Metacritic score it got, it deserves it. I actually think it might be a little bit, I think it deserves a little bit higher. But my only criticisms with it right now is when a character dies with permadeath, there is no reaction whatsoever with your house, any of the other houses, any of the teachers, period. A character dies and they act like nothing happened, even to the point where the storylines that involve that character continue on as if that character is alive. I think that's a problem. They should have figured a way to be able to either write that out or create a actual like dialogue or lines for people in your house to actually react to it. Like one of my characters died. He's the best friend to the prince, and the prince doesn't care. I'm like, this don't make any sense. The character's father shows up at school. He shows up at school and he's like, yeah, where's my son? My character's two choice options are he went out and he's in his room. This dude is dead. He's not out or in his room. He's a corpse. He went out. He ain't come back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I can't tell this guy his son's dead. What kind of teacher am I? So it's just like, that's a problem for me. And the frame rate, like even docked, there are times when I'm running around the school and the frame rate drops are noticeable. On handheld, they're super noticeable on handheld. Oh, so yeah. That's the issue. But I think to me, this game is like a 9 out of 10, big time. It's my game of the year. Wow. I'm done now.
All right, let's go to J-Dub. Have you played the game, man? J-Dub, are you there? Did we lose J-Dub?
He being stepped away for a moment. Look, I see he's still on mute.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, B.
Oh no, I'm just waiting to jump into the game because I already knew that Fire Emblem was going to be fire. You know, I've played previous Fire Emblem games, and you know, like you said, every one of them is different, but I think they have always shown quality throughout the series. So I just can't wait, man. I gotta get in there and play it, especially because Astral Chain comes out at the end of the month. So
right. But the replayability with this game, like I'm already saying like I gotta do Black Eagle next.
Yeah.
After I finish.
See, I already know I'm going with the Red House. So
Yeah. I like the leader, the girl, the princess, who leads the Red House. She's got like this attitude. She's so cocky. Like she's always. I can't stand Dimitri, who's the prince of the Northern Kingdom, and he's
like
the Blue Lines.
He came across like just fake to me.
No, he's genuine. He's a genuine goody two shoes kind of dude, but he's just so.
He's an ass kisser.
Yeah, he's very boring. He's very boring.
Yeah,
and, I don't. But he's got a little bit of depth to him. Like he's like there are parts where like you're going against like militias where they're basically just like farmers being kind of coaxed into fighting you because their lord said so. And I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Like you're there to take down their leader. You got to get through these farmers who with pitchforks and whatnot to get to them. And it's just like you have conversations with Dimitri, and he's just like, I never really thought about the fact that I would have to kill civilians in order to do what I believe is right. It's like you get some really in-depth dialogue and conversations, and there's a ton of voice actors in this game, just so many.
Gonna go live chat real quick. Dr. Sirakis says Fire Emblem sucks. Rather watch Shark Week so people can learn a thing or two. Oh my God. That's kind of funny.
You know what this does though for me is like it just gets me more excited for when Shin Megami Tensei comes out, because I think like the Persona team has kind of looked at the landscape, seen what they've done with Persona 5. You take a look at this game, you know what I mean? It's really stepped up the notch for Fire Emblem games, and Shin Megami Tensei should be just as amazing. So
I hope so because that's even more mileage I'm gonna get out of my Switch. Because I mean, so far this summer I've played my Switch maybe
remember
75% of the time.
Remember you were on the fence of buying a Switch?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that trash.
For a long time. I was like, y'all was like, you don't want to play this? You don't want to play that? Nope, I don't want to play that shit. Look, me in the Switch.
Now they're like best friends.
We like best friends now. It's like my buddy. It's like a my buddy commercial.
Hey, sorry about that, guys. I'm back.
It's all good, bro.
Just getting back from out of town, so I'm trying to get settled.
Oh, no worries, man. Kratos, so what is have you played Fire Emblem yet?
I have not fired it up yet.
Okay.
But within the next 20 minutes, that puppy will be fired up.
Oh, so he gets the benefit of the doubt because he's the guest.
Well, because he wasn't giving anyone a hard time.
I literally just drove for the last 5 hours, back home. So
I did the same thing and got cremated.
Yeah, so.
That's okay.
Yes, you did, and we are not going after J-Dub.
No, you don't have to. I respect you guys. Just let you know, you can torch me. I still love you.
But listen, everybody was a lot of people were on the fence about the Switch, especially because of the performance and everything else. We've always said that Nintendo is behind the times. The resolution sucks, the frame rate sucks, but something just those exclusives keep bringing you back in there, man, and they satisfy you. And at the end of the day, I guess that's all a gamer can ask.
Right? Yeah. They got good games. And look, I'm not even. I don't even like Nintendo's first party. Like, I don't care about Pokemon. I have never liked Zelda. I mean, literally never liked Zelda.
What?
Like, I had the gold cartridge
we got
for
move.
NES.
He just lost. He just lost. He just lost all the shit he just said. He just lost.
Slomo, how do you not like Zelda?
I just don't feel the franchise. I just don't.
What?
I don't like Zelda.
I have to block this dude.
Look, man, the game that made me stop playing the great Horizon Zero Dawn was Breath of the Wild, because I was like, man, I could go play a better open world game. This game is amazing.
My number one favorite game I've ever touched. The controller, embrace the controller.
Link to the Past
was Ocarina of Time.
Oh, yep, got it.
That's my number one game ever. And then after that, I can go through, my long laundry list of games. But
oh my god,
Zelda just does something. Even right now, right? I have it on the Wii.
I said they overrated, man.
What's overrated? See, can I get the mute button, please?
All the Zelda games overrated.
Oh
man.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on. Hey, B.
Whose man is this? Whose man is this?
What man is this?
There's a reason Zelda had a 1-to-1 attach rate for 8 million systems sold on the Switch, sir.
It was 2-to-1 at one point.
It was 2-to-1 for a while.
It was.
Hey, B. Can I ask you a question?
What's going
should
on,
we,
man?
Should we pull his gamer card?
Hey, man, we definitely gonna have to put it up for review, man.
Look, the fact that we're getting another Zelda this soon lets you know that Zelda's that deal.
I'm telling you,
Well, that has nothing to do with anything.
Yes,
The first one sold like crazy. Of course, they're going to make sure to try to get you another one out as soon as possible.
And that's why. And the fact that it's so crazy because Zelda is loved, and I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
One of the best games, one of the best Zelda games. Which is, Jada mentioned Ocarina of Time. It's probably the top Zelda game.
That's Del Caladim right there, baby.
Yep.
Oh, hey, come on, Alex.
This is my issue with Zelda, right?
Oh, real quick. Alex says Brap over here saying he's gonna take someone's gamer card. Got 4 hours and 3 houses.
Right, there we go.
Hey,
Exactly.
I played other games, bro.
What? I'll probably be on my team, bro. I'd rather have 0 hours than 4.
Yeah. What are you talking about? 0 hours and 4?
I'd rather have 0 hours in the
That's
game.
like-
Meaning I didn't even. At least I can say I haven't played the game yet. You only played 4 hours of a game that's been out a week.
I got it on Sunday.
A week.
And I've been playing other games.
What
Man,
did-
what
what-
did we do
what
last
did
night for 3 hours for Forte?
That's not you work at home, don't you? That Switch is portable.
I gotta work. I can't be playing Switch, man. When I'm working. I don't have a job like Slow-Mo.
That sounds like an excuse. That is true. Slow-Mo. That is true. How much time do you actually play at work, Slow-Mo?
None at work.
Work.
Okay. On my lunch break, I'll play it like for 45 minutes.
No, and I guarantee his lunch break ate 29 hours.
Look, I
didn't
say I'm only playing it on my lunch break. I mean, are you brain damaged right now?
I'm not. I was giving you props. I said I know your lunch break ate 29 hours, meaning you played the game more than just on your lunch break compared to Enrique. He's averaging an hour a day on the game.
Okay.
Let me tell you something, man. I've been playing other games. Like I said, I've been playing Judgment, helping E. Yesterday in Destiny. I just got the game on Sunday, man.
Look, man, Microsoft put.
Let me tell you something. I also got four. I also got 4 kids.
Listen,
4.
I got 2. Look, Microsoft put Microsoft implemented a feature on Xbox Live that allowed you to delete games that you had 0 gaming score in. As of right now, you have 0 gaming score in that game, but you can't get rid of it because you're playing it on Nintendo. I need you to play that game a little bit more than the 4 hours you.
I need you to take the wrapping off and actually play.
No, I'll play the game when I'm ready to play it.
Your Forte, I got a question for you.
Yeah, I got you. What's up, bro?
How far are you in Spider-Man?
Still in the wrapper. Fraud.
Yeah.
Hey.
This whole conversation is real familiar. Real familiar. I remember having this conversation with you in September of last year when you said, I just got Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm going to play it. I ain't played it yet, though, but I'm going to play it.
As a matter of fact, he's always saying the only game I play is Destiny.
The chickens are roosting. I can't take it back.
Forte's not a gamer; he's a collector.
Actually, I played God of War. I did stop playing Destiny for God of War. I put every bit of that 56 hours was straight through with no other game but God of War.
Hey, by the way, don't call me Danny. Says I'd rather have 4. Thank you.
You rather not have 4. Shut up. Nobody.
Hey,
you rather not have
4.
How far
would you rather have
Spider-Man?
Would you rather have 4 chips?
Do you really want me to answer that question?
Yes.
Yeah. Would you rather?
I don't think the rapper came off of it.
Why
I rest my case.
Wait, hold on. The rapper came off the PlayStation because the PlayStation had the game in it. So the
rest my case.
Technically, I did open it.
You have no room to talk.
He ain't never gonna play Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Listen, this goes back to the same thing. I'd rather not have played it than say that I actually booted up the game and just quit it.
So that means you don't play anything but Destiny.
Exactly. He said that before.
I beat Crackdown. I beat God of War. I beat those games.
These are two games that both released in 2 different years.
And I was fucking and someone threw me a dare to beat Crackdown. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I just had to beat it because I had to. But God of War. Wait, God of War was worth putting. There is no game worth playing to put Destiny down, sir.
Did you
God of War was worth it. J-Dub.
I'm going
to tell you a game that's worth putting Destiny down for.
J-Dub, of all the games that came out over the last 2 years, God of War is probably the one game that you will drop every other game for.
Dude, I would play Solitaire before I play Destiny. That's a game I'll put Destiny down.
That's because you are so far behind.
Hey,
I want you to say that to your mother when she comes in here.
I want to go to live chat. DeepChew49 says, Forte sounds like when Phil was asked, when did the Xbox become profitable? Oh my God, that interview feels like, well, I don't know. I have to go back and look at the spreadsheet.
I'm actually pretty interested to see how many hours I have in Spider-Man. I actually do have the wrapper off. It's probably like 3 hours though. So
I specifically recall you telling me that you started the game and you were supposed to swing to the first mission, and I
never went back to it.
So you haven't even done the first mission.
You got no room to talk about anyone putting 4 hours into a game.
Look, listen.
You don't. So you don't.
That's called. I got revisionist history here. Slow-mo's my kryptonite sometimes. And you can call me on my BS.
I'm glad Slow-mo's here. You got those receipts on you, man.
That's fine. Slow-mo's the only one I respect to keep the receipts. Everybody else ain't gonna do it.
If you say so.
I don't think Enrique. I'm not talking about the chat. I'm talking about like Enrique. Enrique too busy to hold receipts.
That's what you think.
Von Doom says this is like when Smooth said it's better to not be nominated for Game of the Year if you were going to lose.
Oh no, I definitely don't agree with that. I'd rather have my name in lights next to the other big games than not have it up there at all. Now that's asinine.
I can't. I just can't.
I'll never go that far, bro. I'll never go that far.
But I don't want to.
I'd rather be in the championship game than not be in the championship game.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my God, that's too funny. Yeah. So anyhow, I think at some point, Slimmer, we got to revisit this Zelda thing, man. Because
we can talk about it now. Look,
no, we can't. You know what?
This is what I'm saying. Hold on. I said the game's not for me. And I think the series overall is overrated.
Oh, shut up!
I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm not saying that.
That's even worse, man.
How is it even worse? I'm not saying
Zelda is legendary. It don't matter.
No, Jay. This is what y'all Zelda fans do. Y'all just like them Kojima fans, and y'all just like them Rockstar fans. Y'all hype everything up about the game. It comes out, and if the game's not a 10 out of 10 on every review, y'all send death threats and bomb threats to the people.
Did you hear a lot of conversation around a Zelda game before Breath of the Wild, Slow-mo?
There's a lot of conversation around every single Zelda game
that
comes out.
Did you hear hype like this for a Zelda game before this game came out?
Yes.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I've been gaming for forever. Ocarina of Time.
Slow-mo, I work in a video game store, and I never seen hype for a Zelda game like this before.
And Forte, you are right, and you want to know why? Because it was Nintendo's first Zelda. It was like truly open world.
And
people were like, open world. Like I've never played an open world game before.
Have you played open world Zelda?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Why is that different? Like, are you the only difference?
You missed it out,
Enrique. The only difference you just told me was it's Zelda. That's all you said. Have you played open world Zelda before? This is like when we heads be like, yeah, I know you sing the Matrix, but have you seen the Matrix High? Like it's supposed to be like a whole different experience.
Well, I want to give shout out to Gregor Von Doom. He said, "Damn, I put more time into Forte's Avatar than he put into Spider-Man," which is probably true. Shout out to Gregor Von Doom for making the awesome Destiny artwork for me. But the only thing I want to say about that is slow-mo. Slow-mo. Let me ask you this: if you played Zelda, you would fall in love with just doing the shrines. No. Okay. Just the shrines alone, you would fall in love with, because the shrines, they get harder and harder, and they make you really fucking think a lot of shit.
Yeah, the puzzle and platforming of the shrines is
just the shrines alone can be its own freaking game.
You know what? You buy me Zelda, I will play it. And I will.
Nope, I'm not falling for that. Because last time I bought you something, you didn't play it. I'm not falling for that, bro.
I did play it.
I bought you a DLC. You quit.
Slow-mo. If someone gifts you Breath of the Wild, would you play it?
Yeah. And if anyone gifts me a game, I'm gonna play the game.
Well, unfortunately, the game will never go on sale because it's that good.
That game is so.
It's never going to go on sale because this is Nintendo.
They're still selling Wii U's for $3.99.
The freaking Wii U never went on sale, and that game, the system's dead.
It went down to $279 for a brief second.
Oh my goodness! All right, so we're gonna have to figure this Zelda thing out. Gaming Addicts' Breath of the Wild was good. It was a good game, not a perfect Zelda game.
No, I agree with that.
I mean,
it was too.
That's all I'm saying.
It was too much.
I think it's overrated. It got all these 10 out of 10.
Overrated.
It's not overrated. The only problem I had with Zelda was the emptiness in parts of the open world, but the fact that it was open world still was amazing.
I did like the weapon degradation. I thought that was actually
nice some people didn't like that.
I liked that.
A lot of people didn't like that.
Oh, I like that. I love that. I thought that added like a different twist to the game and how you approach combat and managing your gear and weapons and stuff. I mean, I thought it was great. Having the
emptiness of the open world. You know that if any other game came out with an open world as empty as Breath of the Wild is, it would have got murdered in the reviews.
Oh my god! Now you sound like those
Xbox.
Just
because it's Zelda.
Sony's doing this. Go ahead, man.
No! Don't do me like that. Didn't be
tell
like,
me open world game is better.
I mocked you.
What is your What is an open world game that you think is better?
I haven't played Breath of the Wild, so I'm not. I can't compare it. I just know that when I've seen it, when I've seen the open world, I'm like, that's pretty damn empty.
So, but you're saying you're using the same logic to say that is not you don't like it though, but you never played it.
I've played previous Zelda games.
Didn't we have this conversation on Scumcast about playing games and not actually let the game speak for itself versus just let the things you see in the game speak for it?
What?
Don't you supposed to play games instead of just wonder if a game is good?
I don't wonder about Zelda at all because I wasn't looking forward to Zelda. Period.
Why not play it, man? Just give it a shot.
Because I'm not spending $60 on a game on a series I don't care for.
Just like he didn't want to spend $300 on the Switch that he didn't care for, he ended up buying it. Now it's like his system of preference. Now,
when did that system of? I don't have a system of preference, but when did I decide to get a Switch? Do you remember that?
Yeah, okay.
We were watching the Video Game Awards. When they did the announcement that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Then he was like, I want to buy a Switch.
I'm getting a Switch because it was a game that I wanted. I have a Switch, not for Zelda, not for Mario, not for Pokemon, not for none of Nintendo's first party. I have a Switch for Ultimate Alliance 3. I have it for Fire Emblem. I'm waiting on Astral Chain.
What games do you have?
What games do you have on your Switch that Nintendo didn't make?
What games do you have on your Switch right now, Slow-Mo?
Oh, hold on. Let me go. Since I'm already in Fire Emblem right now, unlike some people, let me just go to the menu and look. So I got Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I have Ultimate Alliance 3. I got Diablo Collection, Warframe, Battle Chasers, My Friend Pedro, Hyrule Warriors, 2K19. I ain't never played it, probably never will. Final Fantasy 7, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, Banner Saga Trilogy. Oh man, what else here? I got Gris, which was amazing. I love that one. That was a great game. Dragon's Dogma, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I like that. Wargroove, Paladins, Valkyrie Chronicles 1, which I haven't played yet. and
Don't
Final
like that.
Fantasy 9, which I also haven't played yet. That's everything I have.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you saved yourself because I was looking for that first party Nintendo title to pop up. Even knowing Hyrule Warriors is a first party title, but
Yeah.
it is.
Okay,
Barely.
real quick, let's try to wrap up this podcast because I want to go play some
Destiny,
Destiny with Forte.
Fire Emblem in the dirt.
Yeah. No, I want to talk about real quick Colin Moriarty and his panel at PAX West being removed. Have you guys seen this story?
Yes.
Yeah. So for those of you guys those in the live chat who aren't aware what's going on, basically he was going to have a J-Dub, man, thanks for stopping by, bro. Jay had to leave.
Thank you, Jay.
He's like, I'm tired of the arguing. No, he didn't say that. He had to go. He had to go feed his family, he said.
Hey, the family is more important, man.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They've been driving all day.
Continue, Enrique.
All right. So basically what happened is so he said, so Colin's like, hey, it's been brought to my attention that no, that's not it. Shit, hold on. I gotta find the right tweet here. Anyhow, basically he was saying he just updated his fans that they were they basically were kind of banned from PAX West, or his panel was, and a lot of this stems from a complaint from I guess another journalist who, it sounds like she wrote an article maybe a few years ago, and she said, when writing about games, I didn't get death threats until Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller decided to go in on an essay I wrote about problematic native representation in video games during one of their YouTube shows. And so she, I guess, may have mentioned this to the folks at PAX, and so now he can't. And he's booked hotels. He's got people that were planning, bought airfare. He's got people that were planning to join him on this panel, and now this isn't happening. And he's trying to. I don't know I haven't seen any updates recently. I don't know if he is if they've given him a reason necessarily why. They just basically said, "Hey, we're sorry."
Haven't given him a reason yet.
They haven't given him a reason yet? Okay.
Nope.
So basically what they did say, hey, we're sorry, but your panel's not happening. That's pretty much what went down. And it's kind of shitty that it went down that way. And, I guess, it's interesting. I think Colin seems to piss some people off in the gaming community. I don't know why, per se. I know he tends to be, I think from a political perspective, tends to be more libertarian and conservative libertarian. But I've never seen him be like, I don't know. I've never seen him be like nasty towards people. I know there was that joke. You guys remember that joke?
Oh yeah, I remember the joke.
The joke about it was like National Women's Day or something.
Mm-hmm.
Where he made the joke about no women in the office or something. It's going to be quiet or something, or peace and quiet. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. He's basically making a joke about a trope regarding females. So some people found that offensive. Others were like, it's not that offensive. But anyhow,
that got him off his show.
Yeah, I mean, he did get him off his show. I mean,
enough people talked about it and complained about it that he basically had to leave his own company.
He did,
and start a new one.
And actually, Sacred Symbols is doing pretty well,
as it should, because it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Colin's podcast is good, and that's what I understand. Like, you don't have to agree with his politics per se, and I don't think he said anything overly offensive. I didn't necessarily agree with the whole thing that went down with Kind of Funny, but that's my opinion. But I just didn't. I don't understand. And there's people out there cheering this. Like, oh yeah, fuck Colin, this is great. But I understand, like, he's not responsible for how his fans react. And he said, he actually replied to this individual, said, I also see that you claim my fans have sent you death threats, which is totally unacceptable. I preach nonviolence and peace. I won't tolerate that. So he's already come out and say, hey, you know what? That's not cool. I don't agree with it. He said, let me know who, and I will ban them from Patreon and donate any of their monies given to CLS to a charity of your choice. All right. He's like, offer remains. You can speak directly to us or in our audience in person. Tell us why we don't belong. Hold on a sec here.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to read it. He says, likewise, my offer for any death threat my audience sent also remains. I don't want that shit in my community, so provide evidence at your leisure. Be well.
Be well.
I'm gonna just be. I don't expect them to actually provide any evidence. Honestly,
No, they would have did it in the initial post back to him.
right. Yeah. If there was evidence, there would have been. It would have been plastered all over the place.
Well, the thing is, to her response, she actually gives him the middle finger.
Oh, I believe that.
And I'm like, but this is the thing that kills me. Like, he's coming out saying, hey, I don't agree with that. And she's like,
and he's open to have a dialogue, and she's acting like a little ass kid.
Yeah, and she's and you look at the tweet, she's like giving him, she quotes his tweet and then gives him 2 middle fingers.
Yeah. So it was never really about having a conversation about anything. It was really just about fucking ruining his opportunity.
Right.
That's all that really was about.
To me, that just comes. I think if you're somebody who's being malicious in that way, there's something else going on. I've always said this. I think some people come from a bad place with stuff like this, or when it comes to people getting triggered. I think in the gaming community, but I get it, guys. I don't understand this. I think I don't agree with PAX doing this. I feel bad for Colin. As he said, hey, like what? Like he was totally caught off guard. Like he was like, wait a minute, like we have people that I booked a hotel. I booked airfare. Like, what's going on? And they're not, and like B said, they haven't given any response.
And it makes you just look at like PAX kind of sideways, because why is it that this one journalist was able to influence him to remove this panel? Like, because once he posted it that they were having a panel, then she retweeted it and just put like the thinking emoji, or the pondering emoji or whatever. Up above his tweet about having a panel at PAX, and then literally right after that, PAX emails him and says that his panel is, not going to happen now. So why does she have that much influence over something that has different expos throughout the year and multiple different markets, and now you just remove someone that easily?
Well, it might be more behind the scenes that we don't know. She might have been the catalyst for it, but it might have been a bunch of other people that reached out about how they feel about the situation. And at a certain point, PAX doesn't want to have a circus on their hands. And unfortunately, if you get enough people to complain about some shit, as we always know,
but this is
corporation
my problem.
the corporation is always gonna. And I agree. I love Colin Moriarty. I don't have a problem with anything he does, and free speech and everything is the number one thing in my book. But like you said, we all know when people get together and decide they don't want something to be, corporations cave to that shit, and that's what happened here.
If that's the case, and you could remove the panel that easy, why wouldn't you do research prior to saying that he could have the panel there? Because
it's easier just to not deal with it than do any type of we know people are lazy. Even if they're paying people to look for it, it's too much work for them to do. For like if this is somebody like a perfect example, if this is somebody like The Rock, like Dwayne Johnson, and this was a situation, there will be extensive research because he's bringing millions of people to that event, where Colin Moriarty maybe bring in a couple of thousand. And that's what they're looking at. The number that they're looking at, the people that's going to go to that panel are probably still coming to PAX anyways. They just won't go to that panel because that panel won't be available. And as much as I really, now if he was if this was like an IGN thing and he was still at IGN, he would still be there because IGN is big enough and they have a big enough footprint to be able to drive a conversation like that for them to actually look into it. I think even to this thing, Kind of Funny is kind of at that situation too, because Kind of Funny is like damn near everywhere. But now that he's off on his own and still in a smaller sense of his stature, they don't feel like it's like a gnat. They said, just get the gnat away from us, and we're just not going to deal with it no more. And I don't agree with that, but that's exactly what this came down to. At least in my speculations of what it came down to, at least.
Yeah. You know, I this whole situation really it's super unfortunate that someone can just, because they have some political misgivings with someone else, get their platform removed from an event like that. Colin Moriarty, I understand some people disagreeing with his politics, but he's not the kind, from what I've seen, he's not the kind of person, like, it's not like when, I can't remember the guy's name, but the white nationalist that was going to that college in California, like, it's not like everywhere he goes, this dude is preaching preaching hate and all kinds of stuff against particular demographics. He's not doing it. He's going to a panel with his community to talk games. But this has nothing to do with his politics whatsoever. And when people target someone off of that, it just really shows who they are, because you're always trying to silence someone and who you disagree with. I mean, but then, like, when the shoe's on the other foot, they act like it's the world has ended.
Yeah, I don't know all the the ins and outs of the story. I just, again, she wrote this piece. Colin and Greg kind of go, I guess it sounds like maybe they didn't agree with what she was writing, and then the fans reacted. That's not Colin and Greg's fault. I mean, that's the people react independent, of them. It's not like Colin said, "Go get her," and clearly she took it personal. I think she took it personal, based on going to PAX and saying, "Hey, you know what? He shouldn't be there for A, B, and C." And again, I haven't seen. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen anything that Colin has said or done that would lead me to believe that at the end of the day, this is somebody who maybe shouldn't be at PAX. He's going there to talk video games first and foremost. But I did go to her Twitter page, and she does say something about Colin again. She's like, you can't hide behind the pretense of being an okay and reasonable figure in the games industry. When you run off and you do an interview with IMC, who's Ian Miles Chong, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He says some inflammatory stuff. Not a lot of people aren't a big fan of his. But even then, I mean, if this guy reaches out to Colin and Colin feels like, hey, I want to get my story out there, so be it, I guess. I mean, I don't know, man. And it's interesting. She said somebody.
That's just like when people, kind of have a problem with each other, and then as long as they agree to have a conversation about it, then it's all good. Just look at Yang Ye and Jason Schreier. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they kind of had like a little beef going back and forth, but guess what? They're both men and came to the table and were able to have a dialogue. And you know what I mean? They might not always agree with each other, and that's fine. Everybody has their own thoughts and their own beliefs, and you know what I mean? Everybody can go on about their business. But they were open to having a dialogue. If you talk shit about me, and then when I approach you about it, and then you basically have nothing to say, or you know what I mean, don't want to have a response to it, then why would I feel like your opinion is valid?
Yeah, I agree.
What's interesting is somebody responded to that tweet that she about Colin interviewing with IMC, and some guy says it's wild how just generally shitty behavior is, in quotes, politics now. And then she replies, I mean, their behavior is political, just like how all games are.
All games are not political.
No, I don't think so either. I think
not all games, yeah.
No. People with these weirdo, I'm sorry, like this is these people who are in the gaming community, not because they are gamers, but they're in it for a particular reason or a particular point they're trying to make or trying to drive a point in the industry. Is like, it really annoys me because you see it in everything they do. They have everything's black and white to them. They have no context to anything. Like they look at one person and let you say something that doesn't agree with everything they're saying, and you become like the worst person in the world. And it's just, I see that stuff on Reset Era all the time, and I'm just like, what's wrong with you guys? Like literally every single person, like I've seen them say things like Yang Ye is a white nationalist. He's Asian. What are you talking about? Like I've seen people say things about like Skill Up and all these other YouTubers just because they are a sympathizer to a certain degree for a certain demographic, and it's just like they've never said anything like that in regards to that group. It's like they don't have any ability to look at someone and say, we may not agree with one another, but that doesn't mean that you're a Nazi. But then like it's like they have this thing where it's if you disagree with me, you're automatically a Nazi, period. And it's just, that's not how the world works. And it's sad that that's how they view everything. But it's really sickens me to see that in gaming, because it's supposed to be about playing games and having fun. And all he was trying to do was just, with the people that listen to his podcast, do a live something for them. And instead of being able to get that done, it gets shut down off of some bullshit.
Yeah, it sounds like this is bit like, I don't know her, but it sounds like that comment, my interpretation of that last comment by her, everything or all gaming's politics. That to me, it sounds like somebody just politicizing gaming, and it almost sounds like maybe this has deeper than, your fans came after me as it is. I don't agree with Colin's political views, so therefore I want to censor him. I want to shut him down, and that happens. I mean, we're seeing that right now. I mean, with the political climate today, the way it is today, I see it on both sides. You see it on the far right, the far left, where you even have people on the far left that don't want people on the far right to, invoke their right for free speech. They want to censor them, and it happens on the far right too, where they don't want people on the left to invoke their right to free speech. And I mean, I guess from what I can see, I think that in part that's probably what's going on here. Don't Call Me Danny says Colin gets slammed because his opinion about his political views. People don't like that. And look, let's face it. I mean, a lot of people in the gaming industry are liberals, and again, I'm not trying to politicize this, but they are, and he's not. And I think a lot of people get upset when he voices his opinions about things politically. So I don't know, man. It's really odd. I was really like, when I think Eric was the one who shared the tweet or what was going on with Colin. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I think it's unfortunate, but anyhow, guys, that is it for our topics tonight. I want to thank J-Dub Kratos for joining us this evening, and big shout out to everyone in the live chat again. This is the last night for Hangouts Live. This is it. I think it's OBS next week, guys, if I can get it working. So anyhow, hopefully we can. So anyhow, on that note, B Money, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me everywhere, same name. So just Google me, baby.
Sprinkle me, baby.
Oh boy, Forte.
Yo, you can find me on the Slow Mo Backslap YouTube channel, making all those beautiful videos over there, man. For real, though, you catch me at Gaming Forte on YouTube. You can catch me at
I wish I could see my face, because I was like, I'm playing Fire Emblem, and I just like looked at my computer monitor like, what did I just hear?
Hilarious.
No, but you can catch me on Gaming Forte on YouTube, Gaming Forte on Twitter, and everywhere else. Great show, guys. Even though it went off the rails because I made it go off the rails, but I have fun.
That's all good. It was definitely fun, man. And Slow Mo Backslap. By the way, Slow Mo, I love your videos, man. Good work. Keep it up, man.
Slow Mo,
videos.
keep putting these people on the games, man.
Yes, sir.
That's exactly what we need right now. Is people actually talking about games and new IPs and stuff to look forward to, man.
Yes,
so keep
sir.
doing your thing. I appreciate that.
Hey, yo, look, I mean, straight up, that thank you, fellas, for that kind of feedback. That's really encouraging. I got a video coming out tomorrow about the Dark Pictures anthology, Man of Medan, and about the new multiplayer modes they're implementing.
Stuff.
Yeah,
man. That's
so
nice.
yeah, and that's what I'm doing. My channel is focused on the games that I like and focused on potential new games that aren't really getting the attention that they need.
And I agree 100% with that, because you carved out a niche, and that niche is going to get bigger.
That's what I was going to say, Slow-Mo. Like that game, what
Boundary.
was it? Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I was going to call it the astronaut game for some reason.
It reminded me of Shattered Horizon, man. I love that.
Yeah, but you know what, Slow-Mo, like I hadn't really heard anything about that game, and I watched the video. I was like, oh shit, this game looks interesting. Like, I'm glad you put out that video, because I didn't know anything really about it, you know. So I think it's good, man. Forte says, like, you found your niche, and just keep going with it, man. You know, and you never know, man. You might be able to get some of those developers on to come in and talk about, you know, the games that you've talked about on your channel, man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like I'm having fun with it now. I like making my videos. And like I said, thanks guys. Like I like to hear that feedback that the people are liking it. And I know I haven't been as like vocal on Twitter as I used to be, but I mean, like, this is I'll get back to it once like, because like I'm not saying all my free time at this point, if I'm not with family, I am like thinking, like, I'm doing research to figure out what my next video is going to be, while I'm playing games. So
yeah,
it's one or the other.
Play games, man, not corporations.
Right. But yeah, hey, check my channel out. If you if anyone's listening, you guys want to hear honest opinions about games, no console warring, just picking up these games, whether they be on the Switch, Xbox, or PlayStation, PC, whatever, doesn't matter. Check me out.
It's your boy Slow-Mo Backslap here with another video.
No, you got to get the voice a little bit there.
Go say it. Do it, Slow-Mo. Let's hear it.
This is Slow-Mo Backslap. Yeah, another video out there. You know, and
like,
hold on.
Videos be sounding like you got to turn the volume up to 11 sometimes.
hold on a moment. We got Craig here. Craig,
all he missing is the Terry Pendergraph in the background and serenade people in the middle of his video.
Oh my! Turn off the lights.
We have a track request. Silk.
And coming,
is it freaky, baby?
Coming from Leroy to Chiquana, we got the results back. Everything's good, baby.
Oh boy, no, not like this. No. All right, guys.
I didn't drink it.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Everyone have a great evening. We'll see you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, big shout out to J-Dub, who was our special guest this evening. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that other good stuff. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.